All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. It is the first official Market Close from the new studio. We are here. We are live. S&P 500 down about 1% on the day. It is a little red. And when I mean little, I mean we were down a bit more than what we're currently down right now. Which is making today's day not as bad as it was a little bit more in the market when we first opened up. So Bitcoin right here at 110.5. Robinhood was at 97. Now at 101. Palantir, just an exceptional day. Palantir was almost below 150. Now it's at 157. Tesla kind of flat on the day, 329, down about 1.3%. Nvidia got to 167. It's back to 170. And that is largely because the S&P 500 now is down 0.88% on the day, not even down a full 1%. We got about 13 minutes left. We'll see how the S&P 500 closes. But overall, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's definitely a little ugly across the board for pretty much every stock. But SoFi was 2370. Now it's basically at 25. Google was at 207. Now it's at 211. I mean, it's not one of those days you can really look at your portfolio and be that upset in terms of how bad it was, at least in the pre-markets. For me in the pre-markets, I was down about 90,000. Now we're down about 12,000. So to end out the day being down about 10 grand, not too bad. And I'm sure for a lot of people, it's also very familiar or very similar for portfolios as well. Open Door on a bloody day for the S&P 500 is green by 14%. Open Door right there up above $5. You have a lot of these names that ended up going green in the midst of some of the high beta sell-off, which isn't that big of a high beta sell-off, like a MicroStrategy that's green because of Bitcoin. But a little bit of a weird day. Now, one thing I found out about is that we have OPEX, or it's not OPEX, but well, technically OPEX, but a quad witching, which is simultaneous levels of options, whether it's ETFs, single stock ETFs, index options, et cetera, expiring on September 19th. So that is one thing in the next 2 weeks to watch out for. That could also start having some ramifications going into that September expiration for a lot of the options. But outside of that, I mean, it's just not that ugly of a day. It was ugly in the morning, got a little worse at 1.55 down percent on the S&P. Then we recovered. We were barely down 0.7%. Now we're down 0.8%. I mean, if the S&P falls 1% on the day, I don't think it's going to be the worst thing in the world. However, we do have a bunch of updates in regards to other things going on in the market. Let's start off with this because I know everyone is interested about it. Trump was asked about his health in a press conference around the Space System Command's headquarters. That was the big announcement that he talked about at 2 p.m. Eastern. Here's what he had to say about all the people saying that his health was not in the best situation.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day.
There you go. That's what we got from Trump. Look, I watched about 30 minutes of that press conference. It was about an hour and a half. I did not think that there was anything fundamentally wrong with the president. Just from my own personal perspective, I did not see any issue with him talking, any inability to communicate messages. He was making jokes, laughing. So, I mean, everyone can interpret it however they want to interpret it. But from my perspective, it did not seem like he was in some massive health issue. But I don't know. We will see over the coming days and weeks if there is anything that ends up coming out. So that's what we had from Trump. Rocket Lab actually is catching a bit of a bid right here based on the announcement for the Space Systems Command. This thing was trying to touch 50, 49.19 up 1.21% on the day. That one and ASTS, I think, are both at the same time. Well, ASTS is now down. It was up about 30 minutes ago. Now it's down. Rocket Lab is up. So again, kind of a bit of a low volume day as well. Let me check the S&P. Volume is not as high as it usually is. I think from the August slump, we are now starting to recover a little bit. CoreWeave, I think you got some more insider sales. They're going to be disclosed today. This one's down 10%. So this one has been taking a hit, but otherwise it has not been too bad. Being flat today is a win. 1000% being flat today is a win. Zscaler earnings. I just remembered we have Zscaler earnings. So let's do a pump or dump poll on that one. Let me know if anyone owns that name. And while we're setting up that poll, do have some other pieces of breaking news in regards to Apple and Meta.
Steve Kovac has that for us. Hey there, Scott. Let's try $3 trillion. But anyway, there is more of this brain drain that we've been seeing from this $3 trillion company. Bloomberg just reporting a handful of other people who work in robotics and artificial intelligence have left the company in recent weeks. Bloomberg naming one person who I've also confirmed, by the way, has been left the robotics division within Apple and left for Meta's robotics team. You might remember, Scott, Meta had gone on a poaching spree for some of Apple's AI researchers. By the way, speaking of this AI researchers, this report also says some of them have also been leaving in recent weeks to companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. These aren't necessarily household names or big time executives that you would normally talk about, Scott, but it is a continuing pattern we're seeing at Apple of these big robotics and AI groups and these bleeding edge technology groups leaving the company and going elsewhere.
So, I mean, this is kind of getting wild. Once again, Apple loses a researcher to Meta. In this case, it's not about AI, not about just LLMs. It's about robotics. And now what makes this, pretty wild is last week, NVIDIA reported that Meta was one of their first 3 customers for the Jetson Thor. The 2 other customers were Amazon and Figure, but Amazon's been working with robotics for the past decade. Figure is a humanoid robotic startup, so that makes sense. Meta's never done anything that meaningful with robotics. I mean, they're an advertising company that now seems to be putting their hat in the ring in regards to potentially humanoid robotics if they're getting one of Apple's lead AI robotics researchers to come to Meta. The other thing that's interesting about this is Apple for the past couple of years has been rumored, and it's not really a rumor. I mean, they had an entire robotics division, but a lot of people didn't know exactly what they were doing with it. They're trying to potentially come up with their next S-curve being not cars, which ended up failing, maybe not glasses with the Vision Pro that ended up so far not working out, but robots. Because theoretically, Apple has all the distribution in the world. If they could build a phenomenal robot, I mean, you could imagine they would sell a decent chunk of those robots if this is going to, if we're, humanity is going to have some type of humanoid robotic revolution. So the fact that people are now leaving Meta or leaving Apple for Meta in a niche that Meta and Apple both, one could argue have no business being in, is quite incredible. And I think to me, it makes me a bit more scared for Apple's trajectory and a lot more excited for Meta's trajectory because regardless, Meta is trying different stuff. Wow, S&P 640 as we head towards the last 5 minutes of the day. Look at that, folks. I mean, I know it's only one day in September. There were some juicy dips today if you took advantage of it. I did buy 50 more shares of BMNR. That's the only thing I did today. So I think I bought it at 42.20. That was the price I got it at. I think the lows of the day, BMNR was like at 41.50, something like that. But outside of that, that's what I did. Let me know in the chat if anyone bought or sold anything, sold some covered calls, sold some puts, if you bought puts or bought calls on anything. But there were some, I think, relatively attractive opportunities. Obviously, we got a whole another 29 days to see what happens in September. But seeing a 640 on S&P is actually very exciting to see. This thing was down at 634 this morning. Not a full recovery, still going to be down about 0.75% of the day, but not too bad to see it at 640. I see a lot of bought more BMNR. Zocol said he started buying Oscar, that stock right here, down about 1.3% on the day. Sold puts on SoundHound and BMNR. Bought a little bit of Palantir. Sold covered calls on Serve. Yeah, I see a lot of BMNRs. Okay, so pretty much all of us bought this dip. Palantir right here, 157, and we're going to see how this one ends up playing out. Ethereum, by the way, been relatively flat along with Bitcoin. Ethereum 42.75 and BTC, which a little bit of a move at 110.661. It was at 111.8. Now back down to the 110 range. That's it. That's what we got. I mean, not that crazy of a day. Kind of exciting in certain areas. Other areas has been relatively flat. I mean, gold still is at all-time highs. That one is not slowing down. You got gold at 3,600. That's actually literally all-time highs as we speak. Silver, I think, broke 37.14. I mean, I don't know. You got gold and silver and commodities racing. I don't know if that means you should be scared of equities. I think if anything, that means you should be scared of treasuries. And as a result, more demand is coming into any type of a risk-on asset as rates get ready to come down. But I think the gold and silver story has a little bit more time to play out over the coming months before we understand why exactly the markets decided to rally on gold and silver. We talked a lot this morning about central banks deciding to kind of ditch treasuries, not fully, but they're starting to have more gold than treasuries for the first time since 1998. So that maybe plays a role into it. India came out this morning and said they're not going to be buying as much U.S. treasuries versus gold. Now, India in general has been a country that has a deep relationship with gold, but more importantly, Modi and Trump are beefing right now, so it makes sense that India is not keen to be buying our debt. But nonetheless, outside of that, S&Ps, give me 640. I'll take that any day of the week. I will take that any day of the week. Oh, we also have GitLab earnings today. All right, so we got GitLab and Zscaler. Those are going to be the main ones that we look at. Let me get the predictions for those. And we're going to pull those up. By the way, we got a ton of IPOs that are getting ready to go public. You got Figure, not the Figure robotic company, but you have Figure blockchain lending. You have Klarna that we talked about this morning, Gemini. So there's a bunch of these more startups that are starting to get some momentum in terms of the public markets, or at least they will begin to get public and maybe get some momentum when they do go public. But all of those are now on Robinhood, available to be offered. So Zscaler Street wants 80 cents and $707 million of revenue. Again, cybersecurity space. Cybersecurity has not been the best over the past couple of weeks, so we'll see how this one ends up playing out. And then we also have GitLab that we will take a look at. CoreWeave right here. We got about 2 minutes until the market closes. CoreWeave down about 9.26% on the day. IREN has been a major winner today. Look at that, up 10%, hit 29.85. Looks like it's going to close above 28.50. Robinhood above 100. To me is decent, given it was at 97 today. Palantir again, 156. NVIDIA, 171. And so NVIDIA down only 1.8%. At one point, it was down 5%. Every dollar up on NVIDIA is $25 billion of market cap. So that is a big mover. Oh, GitLab's tomorrow? Okay, cool. So then today, Zscaler is the only one that we have to look at. I requested shares from all the IPOs. I have not requested any of the shares from the IPOs. I want to look at some of the, some of the S1s, but I mean, look, I think there's enough risk on appetite for all those IPOs to do well, especially Klarna. That's kind of the biggest name out of all of them. And so we're going to see. We're going to see how it ends up playing out, but I don't think it will be, I don't think it's going to be IPOs that flop per se. If Bullish could go public, I think some of these other companies are going to have a chance to go public. All right, here we go. Got about 20 more seconds until this market closes. We will have Jason on in a little bit for Technical Tuesday. Let's get through Zscaler earnings, a couple other headlines we'll take a look at. And then we'll get into some technicals for some other names that we haven't really talked about as often on the channel since we did all the big names yesterday. And we will keep going from there. 4 p.m. Tuesday, September 2nd, first market close in the new studio. Thank you, everybody, for being here. The market is now closed. There you go. I know there's still a little problem with the echo. That should be worked out by the beginning of next week, getting the walls soundproofed and getting some rugs in here and all that stuff. But hopefully you guys can put up with a little bit of the echo for another couple of days, and that stuff should be fixed by Monday. I wonder how your neighbors feel about the bell. I have no idea. I haven't met any of the neighbors, to be honest. So I've only been here for like 2 days, but hopefully they don't get too upset about it. Robinhood right here, 100.86. Palantir, 157.09. Tessie, 329.49. NVIDIA, 170.74. That's down about 2%. S&P closes at 640. I'll take it. I will take it. I mean, this thing was at 634 in the morning. I will take 640. It shows a bit of resiliency and people coming in to buy that dip. SoFi right here, 24.88. AMD, 162. Grab at 493, up from 484. At the lows of the day, Amazon 225, Reddit 219, Meta 735, PayPal 21. That one's a little bit flat on the day. MicroStrategy, that's up 342 after having a rough couple weeks. HIMS 4170 down another 2%. ASTS down 0.32. The Qs down 1%. Again, it's just not that bad. Apple stock, we haven't looked at it since that meta news came out. Basically flat, down about 1.2%. TLT is flat as well. Bitcoin 110.7. SMCI 40.7. ELF 125. And then you got the S&P 500 at 640.24. Let me pull up the stock draft. I've not looked at that all day. Let's see how we're doing. Matt is still up 26%. I'm up 9.5. Tanner's up 7. Steve is down 3.4. CrowdStrike, HIMS, and MicroStrategy are hurting him the most, and PayPal. Chris is back to negative, down 0.7. Novo is hurting him the most. He's green on UNH and Google. Marvell also. He's down about 8% on that. For me, Duolingo is still, the biggest thing that's hurting me. But Matt holding on strong to a 26% gain. Matt doing what he has to do to keep this lead for his ETF. Okay, so let's pull up Zscaler. Their numbers should be coming out literally now, if not at 4:05. I think they tend to happen quicker. So we'll see if there's any movement on this stock. That's kind of the main earnings that we have today. Where did BMNR end out for the day? This one, all right, 42.55. I think I bought at 42.20. Lowe's was 41.77. Tom Lee did put out a 15-minute video today talking about Ethereum and just his bull case and the MNAV, all that good stuff. They did buy another 100,000 Ethereum, so now they have 1.87 million. Along with their cash, it's about $9 billion in total holdings. So that's what you have for Bitcoin. Don't worry, Amit. The real gains are the friends you made along the way. Dude, if I didn't have this stupid Duolingo, I would actually be competing with Matt. But there's no way I can compete with him unless he has a stock that tanks. And I'm not wishing for his portfolio to tank, right? So I've got to just outperform. But this freaking Duolingo is just like not cooperating. Down 40% on this name. Duolingo ended what? Down below 300 again? Yep, there you go. This is 2 consecutive days of closing below 300, 289.98 on Duolingo. So there you go. All right, so let's see Zscaler. Still waiting on that one. And we'll see what ends up happening. Health Equity has earnings. I didn't even know what this company does, but apparently, are they a big company? Health Equity. I have no idea what their even ticker is. Health Equity earnings. Okay, let me pull it up. Health Equity stock. HQY, $7 billion company, not the biggest company in healthcare, but nonetheless, they have earnings. They are up 7%. Yep, up 8% after hours. If anyone knows about this stock, let me know. Let me pull up their results right here and see what we've got. We're waiting on Zscaler. Health Equity beat by 17% on EPS, 2% on revenue. 108 versus 92 cents. EPS is up 30% year over year. Revenue's up 9%. 325 versus 320. Health Equity does benefits management. Okay, I've not heard of these guys before, but looks like they have earnings beating on the top and the bottom. Again, healthcare in general has not really been catching a bid. Let's take a look at this stock all year. Year to date, it is down 8%. So now it's breaking even based on this after hours result, up 8%. Again, smaller company, but nice to see one of those names in healthcare not doing too bad. 94.47 up now 5% after hours. Zscaler, do we have a pump? We have a pump. Wow, 9%. It looks like. Take a look at that one. Nice to see a green candle. By the way, there's a couple other pieces of Ethereum news that we have to talk about, but apparently Jack Ma's fund in China bought 10,000 Ethereum today. We'll talk more about that one, but I missed that in the morning. So you do have a lot more of these international institutions coming out. And, 10,000 Ethereum is not that much in the grand scheme of things, but they are starting to bid a little bit more for Ethereum. All right, Zscaler, let's see if we can get some earnings on this. What do we have? What results? This is a $30 billion cybersecurity company. They beat on the top and the bottom, 89 cents versus 80 cents. That is a beat on EPS. Revenue 719 versus 707. That is a beat by 2%. EPS is up 1% year over year. Revenue is up 21% year over year. Zscaler up now 9%. I mean, dude, this is nice to see given CrowdStrike had a good earnings, but not enough for it to catch a massive bid. Palo Alto, same thing, good earnings, not enough for it to catch a massive bid. Wiz got taken out by Google for $32 billion. So there has, and CyberArk got swallowed up by 25 billion by Palo Alto. So you're seeing consolidation in the space. Zscaler has been the subject of rumors to be acquired for the past couple of years now. So the fact that they're holding on and putting up some of these numbers is very encouraging to see. 9% up on the day, Zscaler, $300.10. Daniel says, I both use Zscaler and CrowdStrike for work. I've heard multiple people inside of Fortune 500 companies that have toyed with Zscaler and CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is the one I hear more about than Zscaler, but it's not like this name is unknown, right? Like this name is a name that is known in cybersecurity, even if it's not as big as CrowdStrike, especially in the endpoint space. Now, particularly Fortinet, which had a really crappy earnings, which also probably has a lot more brand recognition than Zscaler, is a bigger company than Zscaler. They kind of shit the bed. So seeing Zscaler put up some of these numbers is nice to see. 297.97, that's up 7.5%. Very big in the enterprise. Yes, very big in the enterprise. And again, it's a $42 billion company. It's not like CrowdStrike or Palo Alto in the $200 billion range. So it seems like they have some momentum. That one is now up 7% on the day. Looks like those are the main earnings that we have. We'll see if we have anything else, but GitLab should be tomorrow. Google's pumping, is it? Did we get some news from the DOJ? Google up. There's a bit of a green candle right there. Let me see if there's anything. I mean, the DOJ news was supposed to come out last week. It has been delayed for a while. I don't see the news. I see a lot of bullish option flow. 250 strike May 2026, $5.7 million of premium was allocated to that particular option. I do not see any news though. Oh, we got something. U.S. judge issues sealed decision in Google online search monopoly case. Oh boy. Okay, so we gotta crack open the seal. What is the answer to this? Oh boy. Hold on. All right, so hold on. Oh wait, no, hold on. Wait, does sealed decision mean? Okay, so does sealed decision mean that the decision is so there's a good decision that's been made, or there like what does sealed decision mean? I think Google's pumping right now off the sheer fact that there is a decision, but we don't know what the decision is because it's sealed, unless I'm misinterpreting what that word means. Where is S&P? Yeah, it's not public yet. S&P, are we pumping on that Google news? S&P 641, baby. Wow. S&P moving on Google. Wait, it means we won't ever know? Okay, hold on. We're going to use some Gemini. Speaking of Google, what does a sealed decision mean by a court? A sealed decision by a court means the court is issued in order to restrict public access to a case record, making it confidential, generally inaccessible. This action protects sensitive personal or business information. Okay, but like, don't we have to know what the decision is for Google, or are we throwing it out? Is that what it means? We're throwing it out. We're done. Like, we don't have to worry about this. Google pumping, baby. 218 all-time highs. That's bullish. They probably agreed to a fine to avoid embarrassment on both ends. Okay, hold on. Let's go deeper with Gemini. So let's ask it. Okay, so in the Google DOJ case, we just heard it's a sealed decision. Does that mean a settlement? Let's see. NVIDIA's pumping too. A sealed decision course does not mean that a settlement in the Google DOJ antitrust. The recent development in this case is actually part of the remedy phase where the court determines the penalties. What was sealed? Some information related to remedies phase was likely sealed to protect confidential business details. The sealed information does not represent a settlement. It is part of the judge's consideration in deciding the final remedy. Well, the market thinks that it's going to be something along the lines of a settlement, which is why it's pumping 217, or at least it's going to be thrown out. Google 217, where's NVIDIA? S&P 640, now down barely 0.5% on the day. NVIDIA 171 as well. That one's making a little bit of a move, down 1.82%. Where is Meta based on this? Meta 736, that one relatively unchanged. Apple, is that one moving? Apple, wow, Apple's green, 229 to 233. Hey, if this seal decision technically means, and again, I'm just off the top of my head because I don't know exactly what sealed means, but if this seal decision means that there's no real penalty outside of a fine, does that mean Google gets to continue to be the default browser on Apple, and Apple isn't forced to get rid of them from some monopoly antitrust ruling? Because that would be bullish for Apple. I mean, that would explain at least why Apple's getting a little bit of a pump after hours from 229 to 233. Dude, Apple has not hit 233 all year, I think. 232 was... Yeah. Okay, so it touched it on August 13th. So it hasn't hit 234. It touched it on August 13th for a little bit, then came right back down to 222. But it's basically revisiting 2025 highs after hours. I feel like this is primarily based on Google. Google right here, 215, fading off a little bit from 219, but still feels rather bullish. Again, Google was the second most bought stock after UNH from the institutions in Q2. So this is something that the institutions would be very happy about if we did get a ruling on Google that was not as bad. I don't see any coverage on this yet. I'm going to see if I can find some coverage. But as of now, a sealed decision has been delivered by the judge inside of the case. I don't know if that necessarily means we won't know what's underneath the seal, but the market likes it. And the market thinks we're moving forward. Not bad, bro. Shout out to if you have Google. My calls are now, deep, well, they're not super deep in the money, but they're deep enough where they're break even. Probably more than break even right here. I needed 210 by January to break even. We're at 216. So if we stay above that level by January, then I think we'll be okay. S&P 500 right here, 641. That's down now 0.5% on the day. Google right here, 216. Tesla, 330. And then Hoodie, 100.86. Maybe they were forced to sell Chrome, but wanted it sealed due to the effects on the stock. Oh, look, if they had to sell Chrome or YouTube or anything, that there's no way that could be sealed information, right? Everyone would have to have access to that information. But I guess the market's like, look, a sealed court decision means there's something bullish that has been sealed. I mean, technically, it kind of makes sense because if they had to sell Chrome, like it wouldn't be sealed, right? The judge would just say, hey, we are ruling that Google is an illegal monopoly. They cannot be Apple's default search engine. They have to sell off Chrome, yada, yada, yada. And everyone would have access to that information. If it's sealed, maybe it's just a remedy for the months-long court battle that has happened that doesn't necessarily need to be revealed to the public because it's not going to change any fundamentals of Google's business. That's just me speaking off the top of my head, but we'll find out probably in the next, I would say, 24 hours what the heck is going on right here. Google again up 2.29%, 216 after hours. Zscaler as well. That one's up 5%. Yes, the other thing that could be happening with Google is that it's just not that much of a concern anymore. It's kind of like this cloud that's been hanging over them. And even if the seal decision is not the most bullish scenario, maybe it's getting rid of that cloud, even if Google has to pay like a $10 billion fine or something, which would not be good for Google to wipe off $10 billion, but it would definitely not be the worst thing compared to them having to get rid of Chrome. Google right there, 218. We hit 219.98 after hours, still pumping. Any more details that actually unlocks what's underneath that seal decision? Maybe this one really, really begins to fly. CNBC, are they covering it? Or let me see. Let me see. I don't think they're covering it. Oh, no, they are. They are. Okay, let me pull it up. Here we go. All right, so we got some coverage. Let's see what we got going on here.
Was expected by the end of August. We didn't get it. Well, today, just within the past few moments, there has been a filing by the judge in that case, and it's a little bit nuanced because the document here is redacted, meaning we can't see the full Google document filed by the judge just a couple of moments ago. And what it says is it's filing a redacted memorandum opinion and calling for the parties to meet and confer and by September 10th, 2025, submit a revised final judgment that is consistent with this memorandum opinion. So John, not being a lawyer and doing this on live television, what this looks like to me is that the judge is offering his opinion to the parties to let them see it in a sealed way that is not public. He wants them to then come back to him with a final judgment document that is consistent with whatever he's written in this memorandum opinion that we can't see. So some behind the scenes movement here, but no final decision yet in the Google antitrust case. And we don't know where this one is going to land.
Sorry, I was muted. So the judge is going to give both parties his sealed decision. He's going to ask them if both parties are okay with how he has come to the decision. And if both parties can reasonably agree to whatever the decision is, it will then officially be disclosed, which I think the reason the stock is pumping is because that means it can't be that bad for Google. It might be somewhat bad, but it can't be they have to sell off Chrome or YouTube type of bad. Otherwise, that would just be disclosed immediately to the public, which it's definitely not bearish.
Do now have a new date certain, which is September 10th. That's the date by which the parties are being asked by the judge to submit new documents in this case. So we thought we might have a decision on this case in August. Now we have something filed in a redacted version that we can't see. So the mystery lives on of what's going to happen to Google here in the federal courts, John. Back over to you.
Unless, as some of you guys are saying, the judge wrote Google, by the way, 220, it hit 222 for a second. Unless the judge has written, hey, Google, you have to officially sell off Chrome, but before I tell everybody, I'm going to give you this confidential information for you to deal with it with the counterparty. And I think that seems unlikely, right? Like, I feel like they would just announce that Google 221.50 right here, or else the market has it completely wrong. I mean, if the judge were to say, hey, Google, you have to do something that would fundamentally alter the nature of your business, but I'm going to seal it so you guys can see it and deal with the counterparty before I disclose it to the public. Also, of course, Google would appeal that, right? If the whole point of the sealed decision is for Google and the counterparty to be able to come to a unanimous consentful agreement with this is how the case should be resolved. I mean, Google's not going to be happy if they say we have to sell off Chrome. Like, Google will be like, no, we're not okay with this. So 222.20. So to me, I mean, this feels kind of bullish. And unless the market has this wrong, congrats to Google shareholders. This one seems like it's doing its thing. It's pumping the S&P up a little bit after hours as well.
What's not a mystery is that the stock is popping, and I guess there are all kinds of reasons that could be. Certainly, if people who think Alphabet, Google should stay together thought that was happening, it might pop. But also people who think it might be breaking up might see value being unlocked here, and perhaps this decision to talk about it more could signal to them that something serious is happening. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer either, Eamon, but I figure people might be reading something into this pop, but it could really mean either thing.
Yeah, I think that's right, John. Again, you know, not being a lawyer and doing this on live television with just the narrow description of the filing that we have here, this could be entering the realm of speculation here. This could be the judge saying, here are the parameters around which I want to move forward. It could be a limited breakup scenarios and something like that. And I'm going to need your feedback on how to do that in the most, you know, efficacious way here without disrupting these markets too much. Or it could be something else entirely, John. We just don't know.
Bro, this has to be bullish. I know we're not lawyers, but Apple is pumping on this as well. The market has to be thinking that the judge did not force Google in this sealed decision to break away from being the default search engine on Apple, which is very bullish Apple, because Apple gets $20 billion a year from Google to be that default search engine. And Google gets a ton of ad revenue from being the search engine on Safari. So Google loves it as well. And if they don't have to sell Chrome, which was the biggest concern for a lot of the investors based on this entire case over the past 5 months, Chrome being the gateway to billions and billions of searches every single day. You know, I've been using Chrome for like 15 years, right? It's going to be hard to get me to get off of Chrome. So very, very exciting for Google. Google now 223, baby, all-time highs. And Apple 260 is all-time highs, but I mean 235. Apple still year to date is still down 5%. Apple, I mean, now it's down only 3% year to date with this pump after hours. Not bad. Not bad at all. Very, very exciting to see. Congrats to those who have Google. All right, I think we're getting some more updates on Google. I see a bunch of you guys posting some of this Bloomberg stuff. Let me see if I can confirm it. And then we will get into Technical Tuesday. Okay, let me see what we've got. It looks like we're getting some quotes that Google. Wow, yeah, Bloomberg, Google not required to sell Chrome in court antitrust ruling. Oh my. There you go. If this is accurate from Bloomberg, based on this court antitrust ruling, I don't know how the Bloomberg figured it out because it's a sealed decision apparently, but I guess Bloomberg is reporting that is the case. There you go. That is your headline for why it's green. Obviously, that should be helping Apple as well. Let me see if there's some other stuff on Google. I'm seeing some headlines that the judge rules Google can never have a contract with a search engine. Judge bars Google from exclusive contracts for internet search. I don't think that necessarily means that they can't have their contract with Apple. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Like it, I mean, like, is Apple's really exclusive with Google? Not really. There's definitely some legal loopholes Apple can say for why it's not exclusive, even though it kind of is. But the market doesn't care. Apple right there, 236. That one's getting some love. Even BMNR pumping off Google. It's probably not off Google, but got a little bit of a green candle right there. Palantir's green, Hoodie's green, Nvidia's green, S&P 641. S&P's about to hit 642, baby. And Google 223, up 5% after hours. Dude, the funny thing about this is, even with Google, let's say Google gets the freaking 230, 2027 forward earnings. I don't have the exact numbers on the top of my head, but it was at what, 17 when it was at 200? What, maybe it gets to like 26, 27, which isn't like dirt cheap like it was when Google was in the 195 to 200 range or 180 to 190 range, but it's also not like, you know, it's not like Tesla trading at 150 times 2027 forward earnings, right? It's still for the quality of moat you're getting with Google and Gemini and YouTube and all the other stuff that's compounding in GCP, obviously, you could imagine paying 27 times for 2027 earnings. There you go. Not too bad. Congratulations if you are heavy into Google. I'm going to put a poll right here in the chat on if you own Google or not. And if you do, you've got to be happy after hours. Shout out to Benny, Austin, Tanner. All these people should be pretty damn excited as they've been resident Google bulls in our chat. Do you own Google? That is the question. And if you do own Google, put in the chat, how heavy are you? 5%, 10%, 20%, 1%, 50%. I mean, this was, one could argue, one of the best risk reward adjusted opportunities in the market, at least for the Mag 7, especially in a market that was trading at all-time highs. And I mean, this thing got to 145 back at the end of July. 224 on Google. Robert says 35% of the portfolio. Sulfac 12%, Joe 15%, Matthew 10%, Pulse 10%, Tom Becker 2%, Toby 5%, Greg is 500 shares. I do own Google. I have 100 shares and I have 2 calls. My 100 share average is at 156. I bought it right before the earnings 2 quarters ago, not the previous quarter, but the quarter before that. And then I have some 150 calls on Google as well. Borja 8%, Vic Ron 42%. Wow, 225. We just hit it. 225 now, just below 225. She is pumping after hours. Where is Apple? 236, 236.68. Judge rules Google not required to end payments to Apple and other partners for preloading Google products. I mean, there you go. That's why Apple's pumping. So even though Google can't have maybe the most exclusive relationship with some of these search engines, if that is correct, that the judge rules Google is not required to end payments to Apple, I mean, that's 20 billion that comes back to Apple every year. And that's a lot of search traffic that goes to Google. Now, also what's exciting about this is Google just got a potential contract. It's you know, Bloomberg's reporting it. It's not official yet. 238 on Apple. Wow. Apple's moving for Gemini becoming the default infrastructure for Siri. Maybe Apple went to Google because they knew this court case was going to go in both of their favors and said, hey, you're going to be the default search engine for Safari. Do you want to just integrate with Siri and help us build a really good product in regards to an AI assistant? And maybe Tim Cook is not that much of a fan of Sam Altman and some of his antics. And he said, I'm just going to partner with Sundar. And maybe that's what's really creating the pump. S&P 500, 642, Apple at 238, Google 225. There she goes, up $12 after hours for the Googs. That is a $144 billion market cap move because Google has 12 billion shares outstanding. Wow. Absolutely incredible. 62% of the chat owns Google. Google right there, 224.80, up 6%. And then Apple up 3.7%, 238.14 on Apple. I mean, not bad. Oh, shit. Open CEO and CFO files to sell 700,000 shares. Goodness gracious. Technically, she's allowed to do it because she's not an insider anymore. So all the executives have pledged to stop selling, but she got fired, or she stepped down, as they say in the corporate world. So she's not an insider anymore. Open Door's up. I guess Open Door likes that she's selling 700,000 shares at $5. Open Door is up 5.16 after hours. It was up 14% of the day. So I guess the market for Open Door does not care that the former CEO is selling these many shares. And technically she's allowed to because she's not an insider anymore. Apple still pumping 3.7%, looking for 239. Google 5.9%. Congratulations if you own Google or Apple. It's been a long time coming, especially for all of the major Google bulls that have been part of the channel for a long time. I mean, you guys took a lot of shit for the past really 8 months, and now you're feasting. Now you are feasting. Chris Camillo is not short anymore. He closed his short after the Gemini news for Siri came out 2 weeks ago. So he said he closed that short a while back, which is a good thing because, you know, Google is likely not in as bad of a situation as it seemed like they were a while ago. Let's finish up a little bit of last coverage with this, and then we will get into technicals.
Is redacted. We won't be able to take a look at it anytime soon until the judge unseals it. What we will, I believe, see is on September 10th or before, we'll see those revised filings by the parties, and their response might give you a sense of what the judge has said to them here. But it's a mystery for now.
Yeah, but we can still see that stock up 3-4%.
All right, there you go. There you go. Happy birthday to Smokey Duck. If you own Google, let us know in the chat. I'm sure you are having a much happier birthday today. But there you go. Congratulations if you own Google. Not too bad. Exciting stuff. Let's get into some technicals, and let's get Mr. Jason's thoughts on Google. Everybody, let us roll the intro. The Googs.
The Googs. The Googs.
Dude.
What's up, man? Hang on, I'm trying to resize the am I here?
Yeah, you're good. We hear you.
I'm trying to resize the screens. I almost forgot. I said, I got to do that for him. That is wild, dude. I didn't even know. Oh, was that supposed to come out right now or no?
It was supposed to come out at the end of August, so we're getting it early September, but I've never heard of a sealed decision before.
I had to look it up.
Yeah,
legitimately. I had to look it up. And then it came up for me. It was like, whoa, what was it? Sealed decision. Indicate ruling expected. What was it? Likely to impose behavioral changes rather than structural breakout or breakup.
Boom. I mean, that's almost exactly what details.
Which is, yeah, less severe than feared. End to exclusive default search deals, which would indicate an end to exclusive search default search deals, i.e. the possible 26 billion from Apple, and then potential modest remedies. But
dude, Apple is almost at 240.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy. I legitimately closed my calls today, and it was looking super weak. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it was a good pickup for sure on equity. And I think in the midst of everything, Apple and Google were probably the best buys, I think, long term in, well, we'll see. But yeah, in terms of value, well, it's TBD. Hey, look, we still have the new flip phones coming from Apple and possibly the new brick color phone to be released. I don't know if you saw that.
Really? With a brick color?
No, not really, dude. Come on. But you would buy it, right?
Oh, I would buy that. That would get me to switch over to Android. If they get a brick color, that's all right. So on this version of Technical Tuesday, we're going to go through a bunch of different stocks that we didn't talk about yesterday. So for anyone who wants like the Palantir, Nvidia, Tesla hoods, nothing has changed that much. I mean, they're down 1 or 2% from yesterday. So, and a lot of them recovered. So there's not that much TA to be done. So yesterday's show, you can see it on my channel. All the chapters are there for those that want to get the TA. But today I think it's good because we'll get some new tickers that we just haven't done for the past couple of weeks, and we'll get into it. But I think, Jason, let's start off with Google. I know it's moving after hours, but if there's any TA you want to give us based on this.
Yeah, actually here, let me try and set this up for you.
Google 225 after hours, Apple fading off a little bit to 238. Google now 223. All right, so both of them kind of moving in unison with each other.
So it's tough. I don't want to take a whole lot of from my crew, they know I always laugh because we look at things that happen on earnings. It's really hard, especially if you own stocks, to not really look at things after hours during earnings season, things like that. And my saying is like, dude, don't even look at them after hours because there's nothing for you but lies and deceit, and they always make you cry because like things can happen. After hours markets are extremely illiquid, and things can move pretty wild. I'm just trying to clean up the charts right now. So I think what really matters is what's going to happen tomorrow. This seems bullish. That is a huge move. So even if this comes back, like it's not going to come back like all the way. 214, it's just like we were talking about yesterday. It's like, as long as if we continue over, and even if Google comes back down to 215, like even if it pulls back a lot, I'll just say, so far we've stopped at 225. And this is in the, are you guys able, let me just look at the chat. Can you guys see everything okay?
Yeah, Zoom is good. Yep.
So I have after hours turned on. So this is kind of like where the news just came out. So if you want to, so this is the technical show. I suppose it's not the trading show. I'm going to try my best not to talk about like investing, not the investing show, sorry. We're options. What you want to do is kind of like, so I want to put two lines, and right now trying to make these settings a little bit different. I have a different monitor set up, so I'm adjusting to this right now. I put these two lines here. This is after hours. So this is live. This is a live chart. I'm using green, so it'll show up as green. So this is the moment right now that the market got the data. So it's 210.07 and 225.25 after hours. My chart's pretty accurate in terms of the post market. So there's a difference between post market and pre market. I just drew a fib, which is kind of like your retracement tool. So if this is to be what we're going to call like the knee-jerk reaction, this isn't really real. This is the first initial knee-jerk reaction. And if you want to learn to be good at this stuff, you have to take things from the moment that the market receives data. And that precise moment is 210.07, which happens to be interesting because that happens to be Friday's close, or very, very, very close to thereabouts. So and I'm using that as the wick. I can drop down into an even smaller time frame, but you can see it here. That's where it's coming in. We get this crazy whipsaw. We were actually coming down, pretty much resting right on it. But this is all the news candle. And so far, I say so far because we don't know. That ends up being the high, and about halfway between here and there. Oh, I got to make sure this is reverse. About halfway is 217. So here, right here, that's about my halfway point. So this can even pull back wherever this lands. I don't know where it's going to land, but tomorrow's pre-market, from this moment to the pre-market, whatever that halfway point is, it can pull back about half of that. And as long as it's holding whatever that half is, that's going to be a decent, what we would call like, they call this like the golden retrace. And so it can actually come back $7 and still be holding half of this move. And traders, active traders, will actually look for this type of a retrace. So that, assuming that it stops here, we don't know if it's going to stop here or not. But in this moment, this is what they call this the golden pocket, or golden. I'm sorry, they call this like the golden zone. That's like literally.
And why is that the golden zone?
So from a fib perspective, I'll just do labels. So it's 0.5 to 0.618. So this is between a 50% retracement and a 618% and a 61.8% retracement. It's just like this magical kind of Fibonacci sequence. It's kind of like this is one of those astrology things in trading, but the truth is that it's fairly self-fulfilling because so many people are waiting for this pullback area. That it is nearly self-fulfilling. Where like if it does come in here, just know that a lot of active, I don't even know that I would say traders, but like, and a lot of active traders, or even funds will be waiting for this. But you have to. This is also measured by the time that this is done. So if this is still moving, it's whatever that high happens to be. So you have to wait till this starts to open. Right. But it's from the moment that the market received the data, which is here at 210, whatever it happens to be.
So you're saying the after hours move to 225, it could be further validated if you see a pullback to 216 into the golden zone and then a bounce back up to all-time highs. It would be healthier than just
as long as this is it doesn't have to break through. But this in general, this could take a long time to digest, depending on the market overall. Because remember, this is, I'll tell you what, before this news came in, this was actually not looking strong. This was looking like it could really break. And here's a perfect example of how technicals could get quickly invalidated with a single piece of fundamental news or market sentiment, because this coming into the close was looking like it could be really weak. We had a huge gap down and we were starting to break structure. And honestly, this would have been a lower high after a lower low. It was legitimately a really good spot to enter a short for a very high risk or a very low risk, high reward short entry. Legitimately, it was a very like solid entry, but news and fundamental events supersede your technicals. And this is the result of that's what happens. And it is what it is. So this event is going to change the view tomorrow, and we're going to have to see where this kind of hashes out.
Okay. So that's what we got on Google. Do you think do you think this 225 fades because after hours volume is minimal, or do you think
I think you have to assume that it you don't want to chase this, right? And the best that I can do, the best that I could possibly do is say, okay, if the last breakout was up to
do one of those
205.
box thingies that shows us Google goes to like 280 or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna attempt to do for you here, right? And so if this was the last range, I don't know why my things are. I'm kind of right at the target. I'm legitimately right at the target.
There was a decent chunk of you in Miami that were yapping about Google at the meetup. I would like eavesdrop on some conversations going on, and it was just Google. Like there, a lot of retail was like, this stock should not be at 150, 160, 170. And
no,
right.
Yeah. So let me go. If I go super bullish, I can't go. So this is, if I just do an extension on the week itself, I think you could get to possibly 230. I could see 230 if you just do a weekly extension, because this is the week's range. You know what? Let me just do this for you legitimately.
After this one, guys, we'll move on to a bunch of other tickers, and then we'll keep going.
Okay, so this is a fundamental event. It's going to move. It's changing a lot of technicals. Legitimately, what I just said about the retracement, I'm going to have to stick with the average weekly range on Google would put it about 218. So I think you can stay bullish, and a good pullback is going to sit you right around 218.50. Because that is the average weekly range on Google. If it just continues, it just continues. I don't think you need to sell it at this point. And if you buy it, you got to know that like a good pullback is, if you buy it at 230, if it opens at 230, just know I'm saying that a good pullback is 218. And you can't be upset if it does pull back to 218. But if it doesn't pull back to 218, hey, look, it's still going. And hopefully everybody got in a lot lower. Otherwise,
I mean, dude, if you bought Google at any point this year, you should be doing pretty damn well.
Yeah, I have confidence on a lot of things that are giving me the 230 number. Yeah, so even on this monthly, so here's the monthly range. So this is the month. So 50% of the month is putting me literally at 230. If I double the month, that's 240. So this looks like it would trajectory be about 230. I'm a little bummed that I sold the calls today, the last of my 200 January calls, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Congrats, dude. What are you going to do tomorrow? Are you just going to look at them and celebrate?
I mean, dude, if
are you going to sell
S&P
something?
6,800, Google this might not be done. This 225 might just be beginning. So also, guys, it's moving after hours. Like it's 40 cents away from 226 right now. So,
yeah. I mean, this may legitimately open at 230 tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some other tickers. Again, we did a bunch of tickers yesterday, so we're not going to be doing the conventional ones, but hopefully it'll be good for everyone to diversify into just
I am beneficial. Tonight we feast.
New ones.
Yes.
Dude, I think let's start off with one we haven't done in a minute. Actually, all right, guys, put some tickers in the chat. Let me see, because I have some ideas, but I think there's some others we could be looking at too.
I mean, I think you do Apple here.
Let's do Apple. Yeah, let's do Apple first, and then I'll get into it.
If you're going to be bullish and you want a follow-up pairs trade, I think you have to look at Apple. It's similar, but it's not getting the same. I think you can get a fundamental thesis here. I don't think that, Google and Apple together, yes, it's a large part of the S&P 500, but it's a fundamental story for Google. It's fundamentals first, right? Then technicals behind it. Apple, there was a big overhang on Apple. I don't know where it's going to put Apple, but if the market likes it, then the sentiment around Apple could change. They do have a catalyst. So this is why I'm kind of leaning towards Apple. And it's not going to be overly expensive. 235 was the last level on Apple. So I think this could put you into a decent risk reward area. Are we talking about trading right now, right? Are we talking about trading here?
I mean, I don't think anyone's chasing Apple at these levels, but yeah, I mean, if you're trading it, you probably want to get some target.
So let's assume that we hold 235.14, which is last month's high. Meaning, like, if I get a retracement, anything like that, I'm assuming it's going to go higher. Initial target, and looks like where we just stopped in the pre-market is about 239. First of all, that's good. But the next level above that is into this 245 here, which would be, let's call it a profit target.
Wow. Google, by the way, 226.50. She is not stopping after hours.
He's happy. And so we'd be looking at this, but this entire range. Yep. So I'm getting a lot of confluence right in this 245 to 250 kind of area. When's the Apple event?
September
9th. So that's in like
a week.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. So I think as long as Google, as long as Apple's holds roughly in between 235 zone, then like for sure. Oops, not for sure. You're looking at this, which is going to be into this area. I almost went into the options box, I'm sorry, which is like another 7 to 10% higher. And then if that does continue to play out, then on Apple, you still have to 250 and beyond with the event. And if this becomes, because Apple doesn't have any AI priced into this or any of that. So I have a lot of lines on here. So let me try. So we know that it is already reversed. It's already out of the downtrend. I hope people understand that. It's over all its major significant moving averages.
Ever since Tim Cook gave Trump a glass-made whatever he gave him, they got out of the downtrend.
Glass,
right?
piece of glass, in a 24 karat gold, whatever it was, right? So like, here's your prevailing downtrend. Here.
Wow, 227, folks. That's incredible.
He's just going.
It's not stopping. And Apple stuck at 236. So Google now diverging from Apple. 227.50.
I don't think you could do anything about. We could just look at Apple or Google if you want to.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do about Google.
Yeah.
So congrats, but we want to look at Google. We could just look at it.
I'm happy because although the Toots bought this heavy in Q2, this is a retail win, bro. A lot of retail has been doing great DD, not only in my chat, but on Twitter. Again, literally at the Miami meetup, when I'm listening to groups of 10 people talk about Google, like this was a big name for retail as one of the most disrespected Mac 7s. And it's not being disrespected as much anymore.
No, it's a good win, dude.
All right, so let's get into some tickers. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for Jason on all these. These are some new tickers. So some of them he might have seen, some of them he might have not, but we'll try to get through as many as we can. Let's start off, Jason, with...
I'm dead serious, though, about Apple. That's your trade. Period. End of story. Yeah. Everything else is kind of noise. But it's okay. Go ahead.
Let's do a Salesforce. So they have earnings coming up, but just curious.
CRM. Okay, so biggest takeaway for the season, right? Is software may not be dead. I think that's MongoDB. That's the whole nine. So Salesforce is going to be a show me story. This purple line is the 200-week simple moving average. It's actually been kind of trending up, believe it or not. And it's kind of been in this little channel to the upside. It reclaimed the 20-day simple moving average down here. It just recently hit its head on the 50 this morning and Friday, which is fine. Last month's low is also in the way, but it's had a pretty good run thus far. That's this big yellow line, 254. So 254 is last month's low. The 50-day simple moving average is here. I'm going to put one more line. This is that quarterly high, and I'm going to make this. We're going to make this like a dark red, 259, which is slightly over the blue, which is the 50-day simple moving average. So Salesforce is, and I'm using a 30-minute chart. My SMAs are always locked on the daily interval timeline. I think this box is where it needs to get over. Currently, it's kind of stuck in this bottom half of the channel. I'm not a big channel guy, but I'll just show you what I mean by that. So here's, if this is the channel, if you were to segregate it by upper half of the channel, bottom half of the channel, you really want to get it back up. And it's really going to be this 254. And if it can crack over that 260 level, which is well above the 50-day at that point in time, you're definitely in the clear. Problem is that's going to be after earnings. So I think right here, right now, you probably chop in between that. If it can get back over 255, cool. I just don't expect a whole lot of upside in the near term, especially since it's been, what is this, up 15, believe it or not, 15%, oops, up 15% from the lows, like the absolute pre-market lows. 14%. You probably don't even notice that, but it is up 14% since the absolute lows.
It also kind of reminds me of Google. I mean, it's not like Salesforce's numbers are anything to scoff at, but the stock's been in the gutter, right?
Oh, definitively. So there's a couple things. So I've talked about CRM on Technical Tuesdays for a while, as like in general a trade, right? A trade, whether it was coming out of this here or potentially looking at it at here. I've been kind of balked at, from a lot of different angles of like, how does this guy not see this crazy head and shoulders from weekly pattern? Look, you guys know me by now. I am not a pattern trader. I think they fail more than that's they fail more than they play out. Because I do also mix a lot of fundamentals too. And, to me, where's the neckline for this? Like it's really this white line is what it is, which is right here. And so far, this head and shoulders isn't really going to trigger unless we're really breaching, well, way down here at that 200-week simple moving average. And the truth of the matter is, well, we just bounced. But if I'm going to be a good bull, I have to know where the bears are hibernating, and they are in fact hibernating right around here, because that would be another lower high anyways. And this was in fact another lower low. So I do have to be cautious from that trend count perspective. We don't have a big break of structure. We just have a significant low that did bounce pretty well, but we haven't really broken structure from a larger time frame count. So yes, near term, this has had a good bounce, and it has had a near term rally, but the larger time frame structure is not quite out of the woods. So it's got some work to do.
10 more seconds, and we'll move on.
It's in a setup where like it's going to come down to earnings. From a valuation perspective, I couldn't agree more. I think it's it's been counted out for a long time. I think people think it's saturated in the enterprise, but it's going to be a show me story. It's going to come down to earnings. If you try and check technicals here, it looks bearish, but I think the fundamentals will change the story.
Okay, Broadcom, another company that has earnings, big one this week.
It's hot. It's hot, but it's not breaking down. We do have. Does this have divergence? This looks like a bit overheated.
This was all-time highs when NVIDIA was 182, and now it's taking a little breather.
Okay, all-time highs are not. So it was. Now it is not. So this is definitively a lower high, which means that at the very least, I have to go into consolidation. Consolidation. So when I have a lower high, I know I have to go into consolidation. You have to know that. And so far, I have a higher low as of today. I think, and I have a double bottom. I have a higher low, and I have a lower high. This is a no touch right now. The semis as a whole are like, it's a wait and see. You don't want to trade this. If it loses 280, that's the weekly low. If it loses 280, your support is around 64. At 64, you're probably going to get a bounce, but that bounce could take you right back to 280, which will then be resistance. And you need to be really careful about a further breakdown here and locking a more severe lower high, which could be anywhere in this box. The only way that this becomes a breakout is if you get back to reclaim well over 310 and out of that consolidation. I don't want to play in here. It's got to be well over 310. It's like anywhere over here. It's fine.
Okay, 229.30 after hours for Google. Quite incredible, but continuing to make its move.
Dude, how much do you have in Google? You like there it is.
Not bad, but I know my chat is heavy in Google, so I'm happy.
No, that's good. There's your 230.
Oh, you blanked out for a bit. Okay, you're back. All right, cool. So that's what we got on Google. Let's do a new one that we haven't done in a while, or we haven't done I think ever. Let's do this one quick. ZETA. What do you think about this one? Down 7% on the day.
Down 7%.
This one's also big with retail, marketing, analytics, AI.
It's AI marketing, supposedly for the enterprise. There's Braze that's been around for a really long time. That's supposedly SMB.
We did Lulu yesterday, guys. We did that on the channel. We did it yesterday.
Yeah, they have earnings coming.
Yep. If you don't have any thoughts, then we can.
No. Hang on. So you just got to give me a minute to like get my bearings on a chart. It's more like 16. This is consolidation, so you have to. It's consolidating. So unless it's breaking out of this box between 20 and 17, I know it's a large percent box, but this is a smaller cap stock at 4 billion. You don't want to. This is an investing stock, not really a trading stock. This is one you buy for the years. This is like an Oscar. It should be in your, if you own this, you should own this like an Oscar Health. You should own this like you should own this for the long haul, not necessarily the short term. And so if you get a pullback, a nice pullback would be in the sub 15s, as close to 14 as you can. 16 is like an okay pullback. It's just okay, but it's not great. Okay. Otherwise, stay the course because it's an investment thesis here.
ENPH.
This is, I think, a rates play. Clearly heavy channel down, but dude, one of my indicator things. It's getting very tight, but it is just clearly a series of lower highs and lower lows. So it's very hard to touch. It's toying with the significant SMAs, although it's kind of like, it's like the opposite of SoFi. Like if SoFi had broken channel down and just hugged like a broadening formation, but to the downside, that's end phase. It's really lame.
Well, they might get kicked out on Friday.
End phase?
Yeah, but dude, they're one of the worst performers this year in the S&P. Now, granted, they got in a couple years ago. Something like, would the S&P really kick them out 4 years later? I don't know, but
I mean,
they don't deserve it over Hoodie. I'm sorry, they don't deserve it over or AppLovin.
what day is it?
Friday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern.
Dude,
I feel like they're not going to give it to us, bro. I think they're going to screw us. But if they do, we'll be happy. It'll be amazing. But I don't know.
this channel is just getting wider and wider. So I mean, it's just clearly going lower. But the other issue is that it's toying with the top of this. So like if it really wants to pop out of that just lower band, I say band channel, and it's really close to the top. I would say if it can actually legitimately at this point kind of get over that. Oh, now how come this didn't show up? Oh, it doesn't want to show up on that tool. Fine.
What, over 40 is what you're saying it needs to get over? Or 39.50?
Yeah, like, but in strength. So like right now that's the weekly. You really, if it's 43, then I think you're for sure. But then you have this quarterly low around like 50s. The issue is like, where does it go? So you have your 50 and 20 SMAs right down here. I think you could at best expect to pop 250. And so the goalposts on end phase, unfortunately, basically just keep moving. So like the goalposts now the goalposts are moving from, it was 40 a month ago. So now it's like, all right, well, if you can get over 39, like it was 50 or 44, I'm sorry, if it was 44, now the goalpost is really like 38. If it can get to 40, get over 39, it can get back to 44. Because before the goalpost was here.
Yeah.
Now the goalpost is here. If it can do this, and potentially it was like, oh, maybe you could do that, but these levels have just gotten lower and lower and lower as this thing has come down. So It's really this. Yeah, it's you got to wait for this to come out of this trend.
Baba.
I mean, this is bullish, dude. There's another one like it's kind of rotational. So 149 is on deck. I think that's definite. And then it's possible that goes higher.
Wait, hold on. Is the Google case judge name Amit? Are you guys trolling or is that legit? Okay, hold on. Can someone confirm this? Can we find out Google judge case name? Bro, is it? It's a dude. It's a Meta. I wish it was spelled M-E-T-A. Amit M-E-H-T-A is the name. Damn, dude, I should have bought way more Google if I knew I was the one deciding the damn case. Goodness gracious, bro. All right, now it's my Meta if my last name is Meta. So I think that's what we got to do. All right, back to Baba.
You're killing me, man.
That should have been the most obvious indicator. Dude, if I knew that, I would have bought like 500 shares of Google.
So, okay.
Amit Meta, huh? What a name, bro.
Oh, God. All right. So, Baba, I think, yeah, it might be a little bit better to see it on a weekly. So, overall, SMAs, it's just a little bit easier. So, these are where the SMAs are. I'm going to take the SMAs off for just a minute. It's super gappy because it trades in multiple sessions. So when I put it on a daily, it's like, oh, it looks wonky. So this is an even broader view. We're coming off a really heavy base. So I don't really, this could be a larger breakout, just so you know. So this is like, people were like bullish lift. For the longest time, everybody's super bullish BABA for valuation reasons. I would be bullish BABA, but not for valuation reasons. I think it's just a sentiment reason right now. In terms of like where this one move can go, I think first, like we're going to 140s, 148, and that last push essentially now could be to 148, right? Just under 150. If it can get through that, we're into the 170s and possibly really back on track. Because when you zoom out and you look at BABA now, you're like, okay, this actually could be a significant recovery. Because you can't really look at this and be like, hello, that is a very giant long-term recovery setup here. So you're excited about Google now. Google is up here. BABA is down here on the recovery. So this is where I am on BABA.
Okay.
It's kind of like just starting.
Oracle.
Dan, hello. Oracle, last I looked was looking, yeah.
Guys, we did meta yesterday. Again, the goal of this is to do different stocks. I know some people didn't see yesterday's session, but if you just go to yesterday's video, all of those stocks are there. So we did all the basic ones that people care about.
So every upside target on Oracle has been hit that that I've measured. I think a lot of these came from technical Tuesdays or some sessions, all the way from the initial. So when from the very inception of this entire liquidation day and December 2024 to April 2025 drawdown, this entire reversal and extension move, full target acquired, just as an aside. So this extension pattern completely completed. So this is done going up from a technical perspective. And then from a technical perspective, you remember I do these, so the SMAs, 50 and the 20, we talk about this quite a bit. Oh, sorry, you guys might not have seen this. So this was the 50 extension.
By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene bought Pepsi, Google, and Novo. Well, filed. She didn't buy them today. She probably bought them a couple weeks ago, but there you go. She's on the Pepsi, Google, and Novo bandwagon.
Right before close.
I mean, it was filed today. I'm going to check exactly when she bought it, but probably was not exactly today. Pepsi's a funny one, though, because you got a, $4 billion activist stake from Elliott. I mean, why does she care about Pepsi? It's not like that's some fast-growing stock, unless she knew Elliott was going to come in and try to clean it up, which if she did know before all of us, that's called insider trading. But we'll never be able to prove it because she's a politician. So, yeah, not sus at all. By the way, Pelosi's loaded up on Google too. She's got, I think, about 1.2 million, 1.5 million of Google. So she's got to be happy about this as well. Who bought the 210 September Google calls? Was that a big option flow today? Oh yeah, I'm the one who talked about that today. That was like a 5.5 million. We looked at that in the morning of Google.
I missed that.
Well, whoever knew about it probably knew something was happening after hours. There you go. All right, Oracle.
What?
Did we finish it? We didn't
Oracle.
finish it yet. Yeah, we didn't do it yet.
Oh, I mean, am I on the timer or what am I doing, dude?
No, we're just so caught up in Google news, bro. It's like,
Yeah. Okay. Where were we? What were we talking about? Oracle.
see, these are new tickers for Jason too, because we don't.
No,
do
this is not a new ticker for me. I just don't remember what I was trying to say. So like, okay, so I think it was like trying to teach something, but this is going down. It was going down. The issue is that like it's gone down. It's already gone down a bit. I think you're at your first target. I trade this. It's tradable. You're at your first target right here. But you should have seen, if you were a good trader, probably saw this coming. You have a lot of setups like this. I think that this is important to note this setup. Like, so when you see, I don't know, when you see this super tight SMAs and you get a little bounce and you have that, right into resistance, like this is kind of the, anyways, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds of teaching because it's not really what I'm help drive me here because I'm getting a little we keep going back to Google and it's kind of like killing me, bro.
we would have been on our game today, but this was pretty big news.
I'm on my game, bro, but like
no, I'm not saying
Google
you're not. I'm
thing.
just saying, like, remember when Nvidia had the China write-off, like for 40 minutes, we couldn't focus because of freaking Nvidia.
So like you had this, and then you get this. It's a big thing. We have a lot of setups that are happening from an oscillator piece. I don't want to get too deep into teaching, but because I'll get clocked. but you have a lot of setups that are happening just like this, and you could get some big wicks to the downside. This is like that September setup. Right now, this is landed right at the last breakout point. I think it can probably go sideways for a bit. I don't think it's going to go up right away. If it does, you got to be really careful because it might just be a fake out. It'll be, if it does go back up, this would be defined as a counter trend bounce. I would not be a buyer. I'd probably, as a trader, I would be looking to fade that as a trader.
Okay.
Yeah.
PayPal.
This is a harder one. This is definitely a harder one. It's not breaking down. Like, this is another one, like, it's clearly deep value to me, but there's just a lack of interest, dude. I wish the stablecoin thesis would have like actually helped PayPal a little bit. Like, that would have been cool if they were is PayPal making money on their stablecoins? Like, why do they do that if they're not making money? I don't understand. But they have why did that just confuses the crap out of me. That said, the bears suck again on PayPal. In the midst of September, they're unable apparently to smash this down. And it's I say clearly, and it's probably because it's already been hammered to smithereens and there's not much more to go. So can it continue lower? It probably could, but also it's just not going higher. So it's kind of like, just wait, show me something. I need to see a little something extra. And that it's it's going to come in the form of fundamentals, most likely, which aren't until the end of October. In the meantime, yeah, it's kind of like traversing in like just a sideways chop that does look, I got to say, it looks pretty weak. So if this chop confirms to the downside, cool. That downside would be around 63 back over here into this area. But I think they still have buybacks also. So maybe that's the floor. Otherwise, this could resolve itself to the upside. So it's an either or. And yeah, in technical analysis, I was just saying this to my group too. It's like, it's super important to know. So people make fun, like a lot of people that don't understand TA are like, oh, you mean it can go up or it can go down? Yeah, it really can. And that's important to know at what point will it go up and will it go down, because you don't want to get too cocky or too overconfident, especially if you're an active trader, because you have to be open-minded to being wrong a lot. We're not always right. And it's mostly important to be aware of yourself, of like, at what point am I going to be wrong? Am I going to be open-minded enough to be wrong with something? And that gives me the opportunity to possibly reverse my trade and possibly go long if I was leaning bearish. And if I only have one point of view ever, like, I can't do that. And if I'm unwilling to see the other side of something, then I might put myself in an opportunity, in a position to just constantly double down on losers and burn up all my cash, and that's not cool either. So it's super important to plot out, like, this is what could be in both scenarios.
And piggybacking off that statement, Danielle says, I'm down 13,000 on PayPal. Do I tax loss harvest? There's a lot of nuance to that, right? If you're up 150 grand in realized gains, maybe taking a $13,000 hit helps you from a tax perspective. Another perspective is maybe you sell some covered calls that are deep in the money, knowing you're going to take a loss, but at least it's not as bad of a loss as 13,000. And the other question is, in an overheated market, maybe PayPal that's been stuck for almost 3 years is actually where you feel safe having some capital allocated to. But yeah, as Jason said, there's a lot of different scenarios going back and forth.
Everybody's completely different, right? And I was talking about Hood the other day, and Marvell, right? Jose, me, I think it was Chris. We all like Marvell. I decided that I would take a tax. I would take the hit on Marvell because I need a loss, right? And then I was talking about Hood yesterday, and which is like, dude, I love Hood. And then I mentioned, by the way, I'll correct this, not correct it, but like I mentioned, what did I say? Wash sales on Hood. And I think I was looking at the comments after. I was like, oh shoot, somebody misunderstood what I was saying. For me, like everyone is different. It's a perfect example. Is like, for me, I just can't imagine a world in which Hood is not like a foundational component of a portfolio that I operate in anyways. But at the same time, I operate in trusts. So I can't like just deposit money anyways. So like if I sell something, number one, I have to take that profit right away. But I know myself, and I'm probably going to FOMO back in too early. And I'm probably going to FOMO back in too early in size. And then I might get scared because I oversized too early. And then I'll sell right away. Probably I'll sell it right here and take this loss right here. And that, in that case, which you guys as investors would never do, but like, because of the way my accounts work, like I can't just deposit more money. I can't just sit in a drawdown. It doesn't really work that way for me. Well, I guess I could, but I know myself enough to be like, I just love it so much. I would be concerned about me oversizing too early. And then because I might do that, I might end up selling for a loss that I might end up having to sit on not be able to take. And that might end up being, a wash sale for me, because it's a trust and it's a family thing. So it's not even me, like I'm a professional trader, but a trust doesn't work like that. So anyways, everybody's a little bit different. And so, you know, what I do, I'm an option trader. I mean, it's like, dude, people aren't options traders. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. My bad.
Okay. Next one we'll do is XYZ. But before we get to that, you can load up the chart. Let's get a little bit more coverage on Google, and then we'll do XYZ.
Yeah.
$20 billion a year in some years, according to some of the documents that were filed in this case. So clearly, there's some language in here that we need to understand better. It's a 230-page ruling, and we've had it for about a half an hour now. So we're pouring through it, but some implications for Google in terms of changing its behavior in the future, but not the worst case scenario that Google had been looking at heading into this. Melissa?
Yeah, far from. Eamon, thank you. Eamon Javers in Washington. For more, let's bring in CNBC contributor Jonathan Cantor. He's the former Assistant Attorney General for the Antitrust Division of the United States. He joins us on the fast line. He, by the way, is part of the team that brought this case. Jonathan, great to have you on a day like today.
Thanks for having me. Nice to be with you.
Are you surprised that the most severe of the remedies was taken off the table effectively?
Well, it's hard to get surprised in this business. I think you wait anxiously and want to see what the court says, and it's a mixed bag. I think on some aspects, the most extreme remedies, as Eamon said, like a divestiture of Chrome, is now off the table, at least pending appeal, and that is without a doubt a victory for Google. There are other areas like the inclusion of AI as part of the restriction, the inability of Google to make its AI the search default in places like Android, Chrome, and Apple and others, which includes both search and Gen AI, is certainly a win for the government. And also significantly that Google has to disclose aspects of its search engine, index, and data. And the reason this is significant is because the idea behind the remedy is to allow Gen AI companies to have chatbots who also want to deliver search results to bootstrap search Gen AI, search to chatbots to try to deliver a combined experience and take on Google. And so if you're thinking about the perplexities and their ilk, this is probably a good outcome for them.
A lot has changed since this case was first brought, Jonathan. I'm wondering how that landscape has changed and whether or not a case like this could be brought again, in the sense that now, you know, Chrome is not where it's at. It's all about Gen AI, as you mentioned, and how the case might have been differently pursued, and if a case like this could be brought in the age of AI.
I guess I would disagree with the premise there. Browsers are going to be the theater for the next battle of AI. It's one of the reasons why a lot of the AI companies like OpenAI and Perplexity and others are investing in developing browsers, because they view that as important to displaying results. It is a modern version of browsers going to be extremely important in the context of AI. So yes. Also, I think one of the things that we learned from the Microsoft case is that times of change and transition, when we're seeing new technologies emerge, are often when the remedies are most important. So if you go back to the Microsoft antitrust case, which is really what led to the birth of Google, Amazon, Facebook, and others, there was a lot of disappointment that the remedy didn't go full breakup. But ultimately, the remedy in that case allowed companies like Google, browsers like Chrome, and others to come to fruition. So we'll have to dig into this remedy, but there's a hope that this case and more like it against big tech will create opportunities for smaller tech companies who are innovating to find pathways into the market to compete.
Mr. Cantor, it's Karen Feinerman. Thanks for being on such short notice. So you said this is a remedy pending appeal. What do you see as the most likely reason, or what would you put forth as most likely argument to appeal, and how do you think that would be? How do you think that would play out?
So we'll have to see. I mean, there is a high likelihood that Google itself will appeal. I think they're dealing with a liability decision that found them to be a monopolist, and a legal monopolist in search. There are numerous remedies in here that clearly will make it harder for Google relating to AI, relating to distribution of its products and services, and the inability to have exclusives. So the likelihood is high that Google will appeal. It is also possible that even if the DOJ is satisfied with some aspects of this remedy, it might argue that the court's opinion didn't go far enough in ordering things like divestiture or absolute ban on payments. And so it is conceivable the DOJ will cross appeal. So I think there are a few more rounds left before we know the final outcome of this case.
All right. That's what we got on Google. We'll see tomorrow morning if this one opens into the 230s. All right, XYZ. Let's do that one, and then we'll keep going.
These guys. Am I muted? Oh no, I was just catching up on the chat. Yeah. Wait, can I just like for if they didn't know, so like the Google stuff, can I close off Google? Is that cool? So where Google was, so right now for me, I'm not a Google hater, you guys, just so you know. I like Google. I think it was an amazing buy, but this moment, celebrate it for sure. The longer term view on Google, here's our chart from Technical Tuesdays, by the way, from the way back. At this level down here, these buys, and this is longer term, and this is for amidst calls over here at the 150s, and taking profit here or whatever, or getting back in here as we get through, as Google gets through 208. And I'll zoom in just a little bit. Is this just a little pit stop in the road if you're an investor? 230 is just on this blip here. It's just one spot. And we like to do the small pieces because I can go one level to level. I don't think that anyone here is really selling Google right now unless you're an options trader. And if you're not, I think you're more interested in the investment piece, if that's okay. Is this okay, Amit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the consolidation that Google was in from a longer term perspective, right? So here's the pullback. Here's where we went. We had a little bit of a blip, and now you're starting to break out, right? That's this. And this box of consolidation is measured up in here, and which you really can't see because of these screens that I'm really trying to fix, but I'm having a bit of a struggle with. I don't know if it's coming through. I'm trying very, very hard. You may or may not be able to see these. This is 250. And these are because this is a weekly chart, these are multi-year trajectories. It's in the threes. But this isn't near term. So, but from this to here, this is 2027s, 2020, late 2026s. This is where you're looking potentially over here. So it's cool. It's great. It's awesome. It's a good win. Further out, this is what that looks like. I hope that helps. So yeah, this is cool. It's a pit stop on the road. Is that help? Okay. So now I think I'm good.
I just simulated my calls for tomorrow. If Google opens at this price, they should be worth $80. I paid 60 for them. So
okay.
$20, not too bad. If we hold these levels, I don't know if we will, but
well,
nice to see it.
Celebrate tonight.
Yeah. Again, I only have 2 calls. I'm not as heavy as a lot of other people here, but still, it's very nice to see. Yeah, I only have 2 calls. There's not a big position for me, but I'm just happy because I know the chat's been heavy in this name for the past year and a half. So it's nice to see the momentum on this. Okay, cool. XYZ.
I'm trade you guys right now.
Dude, you can't get rage baited by people saying you sold your calls today. You're a trader. It is what it is. You're gonna sell some calls not at the perfect time. Yeah. But
dude, did anybody I'm not rage baited.
You sound a little rage baited, but it's okay.
No, because I was mid thought, and I actually had we skipped probably a really good trade. Then I was like, I was going to get to the.
Isn't this the problem with technicals? Like you could have not known that there was going to be some huge decision go to Google's favor today. You probably sold your calls.
I did not.
Yeah, so I'm saying you sold your calls today because of the technicals. It is what it is. And then you had a fundamental thing come out. That's just the nature.
Oh, no. That's totally fine, dude. That happens. Honestly, that happens all the time. I had a trade today. Like it is what it is. And dude, you know, TA and trading is all about statistics and probabilities. It's very much, it's not emotions. It's raw statistics and probabilities. It's like science. It's like I have a math problem and I can assign a statistic and a probability to it. And if I have an 80% probability to make a certain percentage on this based on this scenario, then I take the trade or I don't. There's no emotion in trading. Like it's very robotic. Yeah.
No, I get it. And there shouldn't be, because you just don't know sometimes when there's a fun.
You can't be emotional with trading. Like if you're an emotional person, trading's not for you. It's really not really. In that regards.
Okay. XYZ.
Yeah.
Get into that one.
Yeah, I think it's still right in the middle. Why is this thing not? It's just killing me. It's very much consolidation, so I will have to go. I feel like these setups that I'm getting asked right now are.
I think the trend so far that I've seen today are names that haven't had a big move, but have had some good, like earnings growth, fundamental theses that have been attached to them. But like XYZ hasn't broken out, you know, even though they did get into the S&P 500.
And this is like high speculation. I think what this feels like darts at just throwing darts right now. Like, I don't see any signs of strength in this chart or weakness for that matter. God, isn't there like a XYZ income strategy ETF? Like I would be all about that. Like I bet you that XYZ income strategy ETF is probably printing right now.
Yeah, it stays within a range.
It's probably like the most profitable one, them and the PayPal one.
Well, the saddest thing about this is that Bitcoin's had an amazing run and Block has done nothing with Bitcoin's run. It's been the worst crypto derivative proxy, I guess. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just clearly in a range. It's below 90, even though like this tried to get out here, right here. Right now you're at a lower high. And then what's odd is like this low here was going to be a higher low. So like you have a low liquidity grab. This is a higher low. The problem is like this one just like ruined the whole setup. It's so weird. And then I guess like it's possible that it's still setting up. But quite frankly, like I'm now on a weekly chart, which means that you have to be really patient with you. Well, if you're looking at Block, dude, why does that keep happening? If you're looking at Block, first of all, congrats on your patience because you're one patient. you're one hell of a patient person. So it's not like there are two situations here. One, you can get a little bit of pullback and around whatever this is, 68.38. If it holds that, cool. That's good. That's nice to hear. That's about that center line right here. It's still in the box. And then two, 85.80. That would be that. Well, it's still 85.75. It's still that initial break, but still, again, not really done, like not really in the weeds, like or gonzo. right? Because now it tried that once, and then see how this failed. This is that definitive look above and fail, which was like a really big look above and failure that we've seen before. So now this 99.26 becomes an issue for the trade. So if this does get through, you're going to have a little blip higher. And so you're really going to have to see some kind of trajectory like that in the near term. Yeah, I mean, this is just choppy. So it's like, it's Wyckoff after Wyckoff after Wyckoff. Even this is a little I'm sorry. So like supply demand, so like accumulation here gets sent up there. And then you have another little accumulation here. That's cool, which means that you need it to get sent up there. And then you'll have another little accumulation here to have it get sent up there. So that's what I'm talking about. So it's, and these accumulation periods are lasting about 84 days, 90 days. So far, this has been about 50 days, 2 months, 2 to 3 months of consolidation per consolidation. So that's what it is. But each time it's gone into a consolidation phase, it's lasted about 2 to 3 months. And then it makes a run. This is the personality for about 30 days. That is about the width of the consolidation. So that's what I would expect. This is the personality of block. And if it does do that, well, okay. Maybe that means that here you have another liquidity grab that does a little something like that. And in this instance, well, that means that your best trade is literally to wait for this pullback, and it's just this whoosh move, which is the equivalent essentially of taking something from here to here. So a trader's job is just to take their one piece and exit stage left, and so this 87% in 83 days, and not to wait around in this 83% sideways, or in this 90-day consolidation.
Okay. Snapchat.
It's at your level, dude. I can't believe you don't think Apple's the trade. Like, I'm pretty positive Apple's the one. You don't think Apple's the trade?
No, I never said that. Apple. I mean, I have Apple in my ETF.
Okay.
Picked it up at 198 for this reason.
I might have to do my own stream then, because we're gonna have to dive into Apple.
Well, you bought it at like 215, I think.
No, I think well, because I closed my Apple trade, but I think it deserves a maybe not today, but I think it will deserve a heavy look. If Google continues, I think it deserves more than a what is this? What's this section called? The fast. No, the rapid fire. It deserves more than a rapid fire. It deserves some serious DD.
Well, the other thing that's exciting about Google and Apple gapping up right now is like S&P 6800 doesn't happen without Apple and Google participating, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's clear it'll be a catch-up trade, but it's not. There's so much hate on Apple too, though. If the market wants to go into deep value, and not that this value, you can't. It's so hard to get us excited about Snap. Are you buying this or what? What are you doing?
No, not at all. But a lot of people are wondering, does it gap back up to 9? Because that's usually where it trades at.
I mean, it's a question of opportunity cost here. This is the spot. This is a spot. And I suppose you can say that your risk is down to 577, right around here. Right?
Yeah.
You'd have to call that your stop. but it's a great spot for sure as an entry. And you'd want to see it get back over 730. So if it can reclaim that, that's cool. It's $7. See, this is kind of like, the norm. You're going to be sitting here for a while. So the question, I guess, is, do you have something better, or is this like the best thing that you can come up with? Because it probably does make that trajectory at some point in the future, or the foreseeable future. When? I don't know.
Let's do Coinbase, because we got some news right here. Coinbase has announced it will launch the Mag 7 plus crypto equity index futures on September 22nd. The new equity index futures products includes the 7 major tech stocks Coinbase owns.
Is that like me, Cactus Jack? Is that my Cactus Jack?
Do you have a Cactus Jack in your chat?
No, from Twitter.
Cactus, are you on Twitter? I don't know if he's on Twitter, but he's like he's our chat's Bloomberg, because he gets all the news immediately.
Is that the Cactus Jack that I used to stream with back in the day?
That was probably.
Or that used to be on Spaces with me? I don't know.
Okay, so Coinbase launching Mag 7 futures. This is their attempt to get into the stock market world. It's not an equity product.
Jack? Regardless, I like your name. Go ahead. Sorry, I hear you.
This is not an equity product because they don't have a license to this.
Yeah, it's a tracking token. It's ERC20. It's an ERC20. It's probably likely. This is not new. This is when it's like what's the Robinhood chain? What do they call it? Robinhood chain.
Yeah, I think it's called Robinhood.
I think they do, right? It's exactly the same thing that Robinhood did in Europe. It's exactly the same thing that Robinhood did in Europe, releasing
tokenized equity. So they're tokenizing Mag 7 exposure via perps.
It is tokenized equity, yeah, via perps, but it's not even equity. It's tokenized ETF. It's tokenized ETFs plus leverage.
Okay, so what are you seeing on Coinbase?
I don't think that will move the stock. These products in general, this is not new. This is not innovation. As an aside, okay, so this stuff has been around for decades. It's good. It's cool to make it mainstream. Okay, let me rephrase this stuff. This stuff has been around for a very long time, not decades. And it has not worked very well for many, many years. I don't know how well Robinhood's works. I don't think Robinhood would release a product that doesn't work well either. So they probably figured it out a lot better. It has, and derivatives on chain has been around for at least like 5 years. That are supposed to mimic even options. That has been around. It just trying to get them in sync has not really been. Functionality has been lacking. I really do not think that this moves the stock like a penny, because it's so forward looking, and how much they make is going to be very small.
Okay.
Yeah. That said, this is it's kind of an interesting thing. This is a bit of a consolidation. This can really go either way. It's getting really tight. Really tight. I'd say if Coinbase can get over 310, this can get somewhat bullish, but back into over 320. Then you can see a push back into the 350s. So I would look at this more like here. I don't really want to play with it in this box, because this is kind of a danger zone. In here, this is technically all consolidation. So this is consolidating here. I would wait for it to get over that. I could take this up into 350 like this, 350, 360s, and trade this range. Otherwise, if it does break down below 3s, then I have a clean range to trade really through here. And this could take me down to the 200 SMA like this into 260s. And I'd probably be able to get all the way to 250. Although I might legitimately take a little bit of profit before then into 265s, just over 265. But really, you could get a bigger trade. Something like this might bounce a little bit like that. But in this, I don't really want to trade here. The only way I would take a trade in this is if I get that fake out like that. I would take this. Like if this broke down, and you know how Coinbase likes to do those fake outs. If I saw it coming up like that, oh, I'd take this guy. I would take that. And I could probably even take it all the way to that, because that's exactly what it did over here. This entry, if I saw something like that from here, like if this replicated, I would be very patient and I would wait for this exact moment right here to show itself up, to show itself like that. And try to get a little sneaky maybe.
Rivian.
Oh, this is getting sneaky, man. I think it's also a bit of a, okay, so retail, oddly, I say retail. Are you bullish on the consumer right now?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because McDonald's said some weird stuff this morning, but retail sales are not bad, so I don't know.
I mean, just his commentary, or you just don't like the guy?
No. The McDonald's CEO was like, lower income people are skipping breakfast. Like, that's not bullish necessarily for the consumer.
Have you gone? You don't. I mean,
I don't eat McDonald's, but my point is like.
Okay, so do me a favor though. McDonald's is raising prices. I know. I've heard. Did you know? I don't have this, but you got to see this.
Someone said today an Egg McMuffin is like $8, and I was like, well,
"Oh, bro, it blew my mind the other day because wifey was like, she sent me something, and I was like, what? I got to find my timeline. It's on my timeline. Okay, first of all, oh." McDonald's is a $20 meal now. This is August 25th. Second, it's only 10 nuggets. And I can get this to be an entire day's worth of calories. This is August.
Hold on, 10 nuggets, large fries, and a Coke?
I feel like it's bullish for Lily and Novo. I mean, I'm just
well,
saying.
You get a McDonald Land collectible. I mean, that, no.
So, like, why is this guy talking about the low? Did he really even have commentary? I don't know that this guy has a place to be talking about. I mean, low income. What is? Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. Well, they are announcing like some $5 meals and stuff like that, so they're trying to remedy it. But the point is, I think the consumer is okay, but it's definitely not amazing given some of the data that we're seeing.
Yes, it's a large milkshake, guys. How else was I going to get it to be a full day's worth of calories?
Wait, what flavor? Chocolate, vanilla?
No, dude. I don't even know what it's called. McDonald Land.
That's a flavor? Okay. McDonald Land. That's the new promotion they have going on? McDonald Land?
I don't know. Jessica said something, and I was like, what are you talking about? McDonald.
How does this connect to Rivian? Are you talking about the consumer and buying EVs?
Well, you brought up McDonald's after we were talking about Rivian.
But why do you have to have the consumer? That's
why did I bring up the consumer? Because consumer plays and consumer equities in general seem to be doing really well. I feel like the consumer has been consumer equities overall have been pretty underpriced. There's a difference between consumer equities like and defensive consumers. Like there's staples, consumer staples, and then there's discretionary. So there's Tesla is discretionary. So there's consumer discretionary and consumer staples. McDonald's falls into consumer staples. I don't know that consumer staples are going to be doing that great, but unless September is really bad, then consumer staples will do great as a sector. Consumer discretionary, when you get into the weeds, because the sector itself is basically 50% Amazon and Tesla. So you can't look at discretionary as a sector. Like you have to actually go under the covers and look at what is in inside consumer discretionary as like the individual stocks. This is your VF Corp, like this is your Rivian type stuff. They were very low. Been charting this for a very long time. I bought more Rivian. I'm considering buying more Rivian. I don't think it's going to be my like main side. It's not my main side, but I'm happy to make the bag a little bit bigger. I don't know that it's going to get away from me now, but I think the time is coming very soon. Maybe it's not 2026, maybe it's 2027, maybe it's later, but I don't think they're going under, dude. I really don't.
It's so nuanced because I don't think they're going under either, but it's also like if Tesla's struggling with sales, which they are, especially after the EV credit goes away, like why wouldn't Rivian struggle?
Because it's a different customer. And it's a different. Is it really a different? They're not cheap, dude. They're not.
No, but Teslas aren't cheap either.
So the market is expecting Tesla to come out with a $20,000 vehicle, right? The market's going to look at Tesla increasing the price of the Cybertruck another $20,000. Be like, oh, the market wants Tesla to turn into the Walmart of EVs. That's what the market wants. Market wants Tesla to be the Walmart of EVs. And maybe they're not going to compete with BYD tomorrow. They're just not, maybe, right? Maybe they're going to go into robotics. So like, I think maybe the market has a little bit of a conception situation, but they don't have that conception about Rivian. Rivian's more specialized for sure. Rivian needs something completely different than Tesla right now. Rivian just needs to show a little bit of profit and that they're not dying. And right now it's kind of like Rivian is in that space, right? Where they're kind of like left for dead. And if rates do come down and they show a little bit of life and the market kind of starts to turn a little bit of corner and they have some relief and maybe they even can do financing or whatever, have partners and they can benefit from the whole rate thing in general, like maybe it does benefit them. And they're already, to your point, like people are like, why do I want Rivian? Right? Like there's no more tax credit. Like there's nothing good priced into Rivian right now, but the stock's not going down right now. But it's been slowly climbing. I don't know.
That's fair. Fair point.
Yeah, I think it's more of like, are they at the cusp of turning the corner before anybody is really realizing it? You know, I'm willing to bolster this bag a little bit more. A little bit. And no, I'm not selling this.
Okay.
Plus higher high, higher low. And break of like downtrend. And massive base of support. And overall significant SMAs. But, you know. Lemonade. I mean, it's been a little bit tired. Actually, today's looks maybe bottomed for today. So, I mean, this is looks like you got a lot of buyers stepping in today. They bought the dip. That price action is constructive. That's an aggressive buy. That's some aggressive buying that came in today. Interesting. This is healthcare overall. So it's been mostly safe from a lot of the sell-offs. I think the sector is pretty, it's not a bad place to be from a sector perspective, even though it's this one is cooking. It's a pretty solid retest. It's a decent retest. Oh my. Did you ever do some DD on this?
Yeah, we did a deep dive on Lemonade. It's, insurance rooted in AI and fast growing, not profitable yet. But, there's a very big community that likes this name and believes in it.
And did
And they
you
had a good
like
earnings.
your SWOT analysis thing and like
Yes.
what's the moat, dude?
Well, that's what I was not necessarily
I don't
sure
care
about.
like they can be profitable and all that kind of stuff, but it's more like the leadership. What's the word I'm looking for? The leadership pedigree and who's backing them, and what stops somebody else from doing a copy pasta on this business model. Copy pasta is very, very technical term.
With Lemonade, who's copying Lemonade?
What stops somebody from doing a copy paste?
I mean,
on the.
I don't know. I don't know if that matters that much, though. They've. I don't know. With some of these companies, it's like, do you really worry that much about a competitor coming in and copying everything, given they've already developed a clientele base and reputation?
Oh, for sure I do. I mean, Instacart.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give you something that can't be copied from Lemonade. It feels like all of it can. The bulls would argue that their moat is so deeply entrenched into combining AI with underwriting, which I wouldn't buy that argument 100%, but that would be the argument.
It was a good retest.
It's also a $3 billion company, so that, I mean, it's not a $50 billion company.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's a good retest. If this holds, that could be like an IREN type of retest. Whereas like this was looking like no big deal for a long time until it finally broke out over that critical pivot here. Because this is IPO price. So IPO price here. Big dill. No pickle, right? This is Spencer's name. IPO price finally cracked it, but giant pullback, 50% drawdown, by the way. New high, retest of IPO price and holds. Also, oddly enough, this nearly golden retrace, but that is that's an IREN type of, when I say IREN type of pullback, TBD, but we see this, like you have this big giant moment where it's like you've struggled since inception at a point like this. You got to it, brick wall, not like your brick wall, but like finally breaks out, tags it, comes back down, and then it turns into support. So essentially, and then that was a launching pad. So when I look at Lemonade here now, that's what I'm talking on. I'm like, is this the moment? And I'll do it. That's why I'm like, well, this could be, you had that, and then I'll pull it back, and I'm just take everything else off. It was over here. Is this kind of like that moment where something similar may happen? I think that's the question. So it's not overnight, but that's what you want to see, is you want to see that IREN or even Hold faithful.
Dude, that base. Those were some of the greatest years of my life, just being in that base. And then
Yeah.
it's over.
But it's not so dissimilar. Like, what was it? We were talking about like the double top of death. It was like the big breakdown. It was actually like here, right? And even like you could take it back to this moment in time, way back, right? This moment in time, when you cross back over your IPO price, we're going to the way back. This is 891. This is all technicals. You get always this moment. Boom. Eric plus is 30% strong. I don't know, but that point of inception, it doesn't. And by the way, you know, Palantir at this IPO, we could do this on any stock like this. This is a full year, right? That it was sitting here, but it was always that IPO price here. Same thing.
Same thing with the hood, yeah.
But this is much higher, but we can do it again. So maybe this is more relative. Look. It's a giant deal. So is this that type of moment? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, speaking of IREN, can we do that one? Because I think it's also similar to what you're saying.
Well, yeah, that's why I was that, because this is the most recent. I mean, this is the most recent of these, right?
And this one had a nice little 10% day as well.
Yeah. So, and this is a miss on my end, right? Because I think this was, to me, I was just thinking, oh, this is just another crypto miner. Wrong, right? Like, there's, I guess, a lot more to the story. Still haven't had time to do the DD on this, but I guess there's a lot more to the story, like a lot more. And so I guess we could do this as well. So what is the actual IPO price? IPO, I mean, not IPO price. I'm sorry. First day of trade levels, 2164, 2911. And here we go, right? So as we get up here, see how weird this is? Not weird, but how it works. Even this moment in time, stocks have that weird, like, it's like deja vu. You know, they remember these moments and it's like seared in their memory. Day one trading. This happens on Coinbase, Snowflake, Palantir, Robinhood, even though that they were so far back in their histories, when they get back there, it's just like they remember. And here you are, I guess, on IREN, up in the after hours. This is actually a big moment right here and now, dude. How much is this up in the after hours? Another 1.25%.
Well, they crushed earnings. They pivoted from Bitcoin mining. There's a big retail audience that actually believes in the company. And they announced more megawatt deals with data centers with hyperscalers. I mean, and it's what's the market cap on IREN? I think it's under 20 billion, if I'm not wrong. 7.9 billion, like
7, yeah. Well, this is as of the close. 7 billion is kind of like that. I mean, that's 7 billion is the price where you can double very quickly.
And they got a bunch of price targets this morning to 35, and they're shorted 12%. I mean, there's a lot of things going for this one if they can keep executing.
Or at least go up to 15 really quickly. 20 billion is like where you're like, all right, you gotta be really real here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to be super real to go from 7 to 15. Like, that can happen in an instant.
Yep.
Mostly when a Mitt's sister just puts her purchase orders in and just to the moon, right? Then it's like gonzo. But I should have said mom.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, no, my mom actually trades a lot more. JOBY, what are we thinking about this one?
JOBY.
By the way, guys, my mom bought the dip on Hood. I checked her account today. She bought 100 shares, $100. So she bought that dip. This one was having a lot of momentum, and then they had some not great news come out, but still doing really well for the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of sit tight. Like you're at the hopium spot right now. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you've come down quite a bit from 20. First of all, this is an idea stock, right?
Well, it's more of an idea than Archer in terms of eVTOLs. Like, they actually have shit flying in the air.
Well,
so yes, it's an idea stock, but they have more realness to the idea. But it's pre-revenue, yes.
Oh, it's less of an idea stock than Archer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Hopium as in like, hopefully you bounce here on a weekly. It looks a bit overstretched, but it looks like it could go sideways here. When I drop down, I think you're very near the end. You're very near the end.
Meaning the end of the red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because this is the breakout.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're beyond where you needed to really stop, but it was such a huge move in such short order. If you don't bounce now, and this is why I say hopium, like you hope that you bounce now, and if you don't, well, then you have one more leg to drop, and it's probably going to come very quickly, which is why I say you're near the end, because it might be this week, and then the Band-Aid will have been ripped off.
Yeah. Okay. MicroStrategy.
You know, this for sure this month. I haven't looked at this in a bit. I mean, it hasn't gone down since we looked at it last, which was right back to. So this was kind of like hovering at the lows here, and then came back up into resistance here, broke through near-term resistance, although could not get back over like the overall ceiling, which still exists clearly, and is just in this very large range. So that said, it's kind of shoe droppy. Shoe drop, by the way, is like one of my patterns. Anyways, it's if it can get back over, like if this shelf here holds, I say shelf. On the right-hand side, this volume, this is the shelf. It's called a high volume node. High volume node. It's a super lame term. I don't like the term, but that's what it's called. But the node, whatever. If that holds, it's sitting on it, right? You got to watch. Like, this could be like a Coinbase thing. I don't want to trade it either way. This is a very trappy. I'm going to use the word trappy setup because the trap could be set in either direction, like that, but also like that. Like, dude, I just don't want to. this is very trappy setup. So this is what I mean by trappy. See where it legitimately breaks range, and clearly it has done that in the past. So when I say breaks range, if this was the box where like you think that it's going to start to break range, it actually gets above or below legitimately on both sides. And then wrong, psych. And then you're like, this is the moment where like this kills traders. Can I curse? I probably shouldn't curse. But like in this moment, this is where like it breaks down and you're like, okay, fine, puts. And then it goes up and you're like, fuck. And then up here, you're like, okay, fine, calls. And then you're like, fuck. And then you're like, okay, fine, puts. And then fuck. That's what happens. This is trappy. So like, yeah, this is why I would be like, and then, oh, by the way, you're like, okay, fine, calls up here. It's so bad. It'd be really
well. He's also been very opportunistic with the ATM, and Bitcoin has not really broke out to all-time highs again. So it's kind of just like a range-bound situation, I guess, until one of them makes a better move.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Duolingo.
How do I do this?
I know you probably don't know too much about the fundamentals on this, but does the chart down from 540 at all look attractive now at 289?
Do the fundamentals?
Fundamentals are great. I can tell you that. Fundamentals are, I mean, outside of AI killing them, fundamentals are good.
What kind of growth are you talking about?
Like 40% growth, 60% daily active user growth, like metrics that deserve a premium. But the narrative is no one's going to need to learn a language in a world of AI. That's why I think
Well, stocks are forward-looking vehicles, right? So like future metrics are the trajectory of growth. So not historical. So like in the future, you think this is going to continue to grow at what?
I mean, at minimum 30%, but likely more. Likely 35 to 40. I mean, they haven't proven they shouldn't be growing at those levels.
And a software company. Huh.
My thing is more so if you think the company's not dead and fundamentals are solid, does a 50% haircut, little 45% haircut warrant getting interested at 289?
What is their revenue growth? Is it okay to, do you want me to tangent or no? What's the question here? Where is it going or?
Yeah, the question is, it's down 50%. Would you buy just on the technicals if you believe fundamentals are decent?
I can't. I have to get like a, not just because they're decent. Like I have to be like super convinced in terms of like the rate of growth.
Okay, so let's assume you weren't super convinced. Then does the chart become just to you?
Yeah, very much. Because yeah. If I wasn't super convinced, I would challenge my own thinking and say, what am I missing? Because the market is clearly not convinced. And I say, why would this not go down to 200? Is what I would have to challenge myself. What am I missing in my thesis? Because the market thinks that this could be a $200 stock. What am I not seeing here?
Okay, that's fair.
I'm just missing something.
Okay. This is one a lot of people were curious about as well.
If it's over 340, you're probably in the clear.
Dude, this thing was at 450 the other day. So it's
yeah. So, but that's my kind of logic here is like, do I need to I mean, this is trading versus investing. Do I need to chase a falling knife or a possible falling knife, or can I just wait till it's like how many percentage higher? Because like that's the thing, 20% higher. Because I don't have an upside target, I have to have that. Like if my upside target is not $1,000, if my upside is not at least $700, what am I talking about here? And if my upside is at least $700, right? Like, what do I care about 15% or $50 here? Because this is a lot more. So do I really care about getting it here to here, or can I wait a little bit longer to be in the clear and take it from here to here? Because I might still have that target, and I might actually get it better here to here.
Yeah. Okay, Unity.
I mean, top of the box. Have you talked to the Roaring Katie lately?
I have not.
Seen it? I think he's gotten a hold of this, has he not?
Not
I hear
this
he's
one.
gotten a hold of this.
I mean, that was a while ago that he was.
Was it?
In this one? Yeah, I don't think he's in it anymore.
Well, okay. This was my upside target. I'm just gonna say that. Acquired. Without doing any DD, just on a technical basis. 16.5 billion. So this is legitimately like that IREN spot where we were just saying it's pretty easy to go from 7 billion to 15 billion. It's pretty easy to do that without having to do any like major, anything major. That's what they just did. From here though, it gets a little serious. Unity is like, it's legitimate, but the only thing that kept me out of the name, that that actually kept me out of the name, was that I have some people like in my circle that are like, okay, and this is just like ignorance on my end, that like, I don't know that it's the best development engine, or like that is the main developer's engine anymore for video games. I just don't know, because I'm not really in that space. But here now, I guess we will do this. Here's this last consolidation. These like couple top wicks. That's 38. I'm gonna drill down to a 30-minute. It's not bad. So if this can hold 38, this is that big giant consolidation. I mean, this would be wild, right? Like if this does another one. Look at what this just did.
Yeah.
Okay, so this today's pullback, that's wild. Like it just did this again, a deep pullback into that.
That was exactly at the market open, 9:30.
I can't believe I'm looking at this again. So a full like week or so out of consolidation, another dip deep into the range, and then spends the majority of the day back up and out. Okay, I guess I got to watch it, because look, so this is like, again, I don't even have time to do the fundamentals on this, but if the chart sets up This is a failed breakdown because for all intents and purposes, from a technical perspective, what this is a failed breakdown because what should have happened, that should have happened. And the fact that that didn't happen, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, if that doesn't happen tomorrow, well, that's bullish. And if in fact that's bullish, dude, that's wild. So that would be 43, first target. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So I don't usually, I gotta,
Yeah, we'll do Nebius next, guys. We'll do that one next.
if in fact that is bullish, then it's here. And then it's roughly into 46s.
Okay. Yeah, let's do Nebius. See what we got there. This one's not sold off as badly as CoreWeave over the past couple weeks, but
NBIS.
Still a double.
I didn't see CoreWeave. I mean, everything was looking real ugly in the morning. We should look. I mean, we could look at CoreWeave too.
Yeah.
These are very obscure. I mean, they're not obscure names, but like the chat just, these are, how do you call this? This is like, I think these are positional equities. This is like positional equity trades is what these are. Most of these things that we're talking about, this is what they'd have to be. They'd have to be like, if you're talking about these kind of tickers, you'd have to be looking at this in terms of like 6 to 18 months equity. Pretty much everything that we've talked about, that we tend to talk about actually. So in this instance, stay the course with that in mind. If you see it around 58, cool. That's your value pullback. 85 is where you're going to be looking for up here. And then you have a little bit of a session gap is what we call it at 81. So as it makes a trajectory to 8103, sorry, which is this breakdown. I don't know what happened on this exact day, but you have inefficiency in the market at 8101, some kind of headline news, literally that day, and this is your overhead supply. If you get up there and you hit that like a brick wall, it's fine. Just know that there is what we call liquidity up there. You're going to hit that like a brick wall initially. We use those for profit-taking targets in trading. First of all, that's a really good trade. Just here to here, that's a really good trade if you get something like that. And even like from here to here, that's a good trade.
Yeah.
So I think that's all you need to know in this instance, is my gut.
Okay, Red Cat.
Are we going back to space?
Well, this is drones.
Yeah.
But technically, yeah. I mean, drones are up there.
Cool. I just had it's Crypto Jack is my buddy. That's what I was thinking out.
Oh, so not Cactus Jack. Okay, that's.
I like Cactus Jack because he's talking crypto.
He's talking crypto. Yeah.
Crypto Jack is old school. It's an interesting spot. I mean, it's clearly, I can see why it's interesting right here. It's definitely interesting. I mean, heavy reactions whenever you get into this area is at the very bottom of that little, again, weird wording, high volume node. So it should act as near-term support. You got a little trend line support. Yeah, it's a good trade location. I don't hate it at all. On a stock like this, though, you have to be very close to. So this is what do you call this? 885 million. You have to be very close to the headlines on any kind of. I'm going to say micro because I don't really know how to classify this. Any kind of small cap of any flavor, they're extremely headline dependent. So you trade news quite a bit on any flavor of small cap or medium cap, for that matter. You'd be extremely close to the news, extremely close. They're very news flow dependent.
Okay. Lilly.
$20 McDonald's meals. It's got to be bullish, right? It's got to be bullish. It's got to be. How is it not bullish for Lilly?
It's weird, right? Because you have this Ozempic revolution going on, but then you also have the consumer potentially staying away from McDonald's. But then if you're on Ozempic, you might be like, oh, I can eat whatever I want now, right? So you're getting more McDonald's.
I mean,
it is weird.
I think you're bullish McDonald's and Lilly.
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, 5 years from now, both are bigger.
I think you like it. I think you like it less long time here than you did at 620. Personally. And I think you can get a bounce into the 800s, but then I would really caution at that point. So like you're two things. So this is an earnings gap here. We'll call this a session gap. At 808 and change. It looks like it wants to go there. You haven't, and you have filled another one right here at 735. Whatever ticker we were just looking at, it's very similar. This is an earnings one. So there are different types of gaps. Earnings gaps do not have to get filled. These are fundamental gaps. They don't have to get filled like a session gap like this. Like that's just a raw inefficiency. This one, there's a fundamental reason why this happened. Again, fundamentals over technicals. So you have to understand whatever happened here, which was from earnings. Right now, the market has basically said, hey, look, this was overdone. We're bringing it back. For Lilly to get over 750, the market has to say it's worth more now than it was at this point in time. So what will that be? What has to happen for the market to say that?
Right.
I think you do have to in this moment you have to really think about that, because if you don't have a immediate response, which I would love to have, I'm kind of struggling, especially if McDonald's is not selling enough $20 meals, because I didn't buy it. I thought about it, but McDonald's land, $20 10-piece nugget, just couldn't get there. Could not do it.
Okay, so we'll do another 5 tickers and then we'll call it a day. Try to get some other unknown ones. ONDS, have you heard of this one at all?
I've heard of that.
The $1.5 billion company. I don't know if there's too much TA can do on this one. It has been breaking out. I believe it's a drone platform company, if I'm not wrong.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why it's been catching a bid recently.
I mean, I mean, it's going to be pretty straightforward, like the rest, like the rest of where you are. So like it's right there. If you can get over this, $6, cool. But like, I mean, this is kind of noise, whatever that is in the chart. I think it's like prior to inception. So you really just take each one of these little humps. And so, all right, so that leaves us with this section of noise. So $6, we know, all right, 1, 2, 3 times. But at the same time, look, we've had it 1 here, 2, like, all right. So these 12, I don't know that this is going to matter too much because that's probably just hype. This was like, I guess this is a year. I don't know what was going on with this ticker. It might not have even been the same company, but that leaves us with essentially one trading range here, 2 trading ranges there, 3 trading ranges there. And again, you lose one or you can't get through another. Super simple. You go down to the next. Like literally how trading works. And right here, right now, if you can't get through this right now, this is where you go. So that's 385.
Okay.
Here.
TTD.
This is just like the most. This chart kind of looks bipolar. Oh my God. Looks like it wanted to, but then it didn't want to, but then doesn't really know it.
I don't see people rushing to try to buy this one.
Yeah, I think the sentiment is like it really whoever's left in this name also though, it's like they're not running to sell it either. I think as we get so day 1 September, right? And it's essentially the market's Monday. So I don't know that you put a whole lot of stock into what happened today itself. We have FOMC on Friday. So today's Tactical Tuesday, I think, is kind of like it's for funsies. And yeah, I think like getting into a little bit more obscure tickers today is cool. I think to your point, yeah, it's more for fun and to look at some of these things. Friday is going to matter. And then as we go through the month into the following week and we get into FOMC, it's going to matter even more. The reason I'm bringing this up on a ticker like TTD is because as we get into middle September, and the reason why some of these seasonal trends start to happen is that a ticker like TTD, what happens in this time of the year is like the whole thesis of, not thesis, but part of the high holidays. Remember, that's sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. Part of what happens here is you prepare for Amit's tax day and his actual tax payment. Two things occur. We have to pay for taxes. People that filed extension have to pay for taxes. Well, a lot of people are going to look for losses to harvest, which is a little counterintuitive, especially if you've not been around in the market for a while. So, well, maybe somebody would look at this like, oh, it's going to bounce. At the same time, if somebody's been holding onto this, and I'll speak to like Marvell for me on that one, I harvested the crap out of that this morning. And I'm like, I needed a loss. Actually, and you might see some tickers that look bad at some point start to look worse, oddly. And so as we get into the later weeks and days of the month, you could see this stuff and be like, why would they sell this one off at some point? And
it's just that process.
It's bingo. Because especially if you're going to take some profit, and this is what's weird is what happens, especially if someone has we've seen them already taking some profit on Hood. We've seen them already taking some profit on Palantir. And then they're going to be like, wow, I have to offset this somehow. So later on, they're going to be like, oh crap, what did I do? You might have this weird phenomenon that is like, a little blip of like, why would that happen? So just FYI. In that case, you might want to buy that back, but you can't sell it if you're going to buy it back in. But that might be a good time to buy. And so almost like a Coinbase, when I talk about like what would a good liquidity grab be, if you're going shopping this coming month, it's the best month of the year to go shopping. I think write your shopping list down on paper. This is my wish list. You don't have to go out and even though you can get all bulled up, that's fine. Things will change like boom in an instant. This morning, it looked like I didn't look this morning. It looks real bad, man. And we talked about this in September. It's just like August sometimes, but it'll be quick and it'll be dirty, and then it'll be over before you know it, just like that. And I would just say like, I want a good discount is what I'm saying. And I'll take the shot. I have my list out and I'll take the shot. What's the saying? The saying is like, shoot when you see the whites of their eyes. It's like, take your, who said that? There was a general that said that.
Shoot when what?
When you see the whites of their eyes. The whites of their eyes. Forgot who said that.
It was in Revolutionary War. Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. Is it George Washington?
I don't remember.
There's a whole website dedicated to this
Prescott.
quote. Oh, Prescott.
Yeah. Prescott. Bunker Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like that. It's like you think about like when they're scared, right? This is like Buffett thing. So I think you might get some of those moments, but like, I like those moments. So yeah, I'm saving for a little bit of those. Thank you, Michael. But if you see those, you're probably going to know what you're probably going to know in the moment what those moments are. Those are probably the opportunities to maybe pounce a little bit. But it's like, what are the moments that you would have been most scared? And so I think you could have that, like, why does TTD look like it's absolutely falling off a cliff? Like it is over. It might look like it's over because it's breaking structure, but probably actually not. And I might get that opportunity on this one. I don't know.
All right. Last two, UNH.
UNH. It's still sideways. He's got a divvy coming. What is that? September 15th.
They haven't cut it yet, which is good.
It was weird that it started to drop. Oh, I thought it was funny because I was about to say it was weird that it started to drop the other day on like the news. And then I remember looking at this chart because there was like this big red candle. And then I looked at it like the very next day and I was like, I thought the chart dropped. And like, in fact, literally nothing has changed in the chart. Like it was still exactly where it's been. And it is exactly where it's been. It honestly hasn't moved at all. Maybe it does that, but at the end of the day, it's a tough call because this is still very much in consolidation.
Okay. I think that's fair. And I think Buffett got them out of the 270s, but they need an actual catalyst now. VRT.
Oh, energy. Dude, I have a question for you. Have you ever looked into Talon?
What's the ticker?
Do you remember? So I missed this one. They got put into the mid cap.
TLN. I feel like I've seen this one.
Dude, I should have bet on this long ago. I forgot about this. I was looking at this in like the 80s. Ruined. But they just got brought up to the mid cap sector. Anyways, VRT.
They're up 75%, bro. Good.
Yeah. I think I want to put it on your radar.
Energy's been a winner the whole year.
Put it on your radar. It's just in the mid cap.
Yeah.
17 billion. I just radar stock it. Put it on your watch list a bit. Okay? Log it in.
Okay. All right, VRT. This one's made a move this year too. It's not like it's been stuck. Same thing with VST.
Right, which is why I'm saying maybe move on. But
something, yeah, that's fair.
Smaller cap that's getting some still Momo that's maybe a little less discovered yet. The other one's 17 billion. So anyways, this looks tired, but it also looks like the little weakness may have been played out. When I see this daily, we talk about this candlesticks. Like if tomorrow is over 124.01, it's going to look good for the day. We call this a break of structure. It's nothing crazy except a bullish day for tomorrow. BOS is break of structure acronym. And because we had a gap down, we wicked off the lows into last month's low, which is what that was, 121. This is the monthly candle low. The quarterly candle low is here, right? 129. So, and I think that's actually going to sync up with about where my target's probably going to land if I were to guess. Anyways, so I'd say for the week, and everything for this week is like, I'm looking at this week as like a possible bounce, counter trend bounce from here. But possibly to set up for, I say counter trend for a reshort later into the month for a lower high. So if you can get over 124, cool. I think you can get a bit of a bounce into that area. Two things that need to happen. You have to absolutely get over 126.23. That's non-negotiable. And it looks like this. So 126.23. Here. Otherwise, if you're at any point losing 121, all bets are off and it's going lower. But essentially, this is the trade, like this. But it has to track in that direction. You can use this as a profit target, midpoint. For your trade. We call that a safety trim. Like that. You could potentially go in there, but that's like a $5 trade. You to take it higher is like it's a little risky because it is counter trend right now because this is a lower low, or sorry, it's a lower high. It's lower high. Technically, this is a lower high. This is all lower lows. So it isn't a downtrend. Anyway, you slice this. This is not in an uptrend anymore. So I would be waiting for a better trade personally to go short on this. Is what it is. As a trader, since it's technical Tuesday, near term, unless the only way that this is out of the weeds. Oh, if it's going lower, if it does go lower, the ultimate target here is like 110. So that would be it. So at 110, cool. That's it. Then I would start to maybe think about actually going longer.
You wanna knock out 3 names really quick, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I actually am good today to do 10 hours. Yeah.
Okay, I got to leave in like 5 minutes.
I'm
But all right,
joking,
so let's do 3 more names. Soundhound.
Channel. Ooh. This is a weird one. Oh, this was really trying. It was really trying. So that's a bummer. That really tried, man. Is anybody in this right now? Is this a request or is this you?
I saw there's a decent amount of people that are in this.
Okay. I mean, they were actually asking a lot.
They had a good earnings too. Like a really good
Oh,
earnings.
was this earnings? Oh, that's what it was. That's why. So they faded it.
Yeah.
Oh, say 1 day extension and then a full pullback. This has to get back over 1356. If you can hold 1356 for some, like if you get, okay, this is a small cap, so it's a little bit different. I'll say it this way. If you can at least get 2 days to close above 1356, just to close above, you have a better shot. If you get 2 days to close below 13 though, you're probably going to be closer to 12. And if you get 2 days closing below 12, you're very likely going back to 10 or lower. Okay, next.
Tempest.
That was the other one I keep seeing in the chat. They're like, can I spam it? Is it going to work? Am I going to get it? I don't know. Maybe he calls it. I spammed a couple and it didn't work one time. I tried to ask him his birthday. He wasn't telling me. He would not tell me, guys. I've asked him so many things. As long as this can hold. I still don't know his birthday.
That's because you're a bad friend, bro. It's not because I didn't say it.
You haven't told me.
I know your birthday.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I'm not going to say it to, validate our friendship, but I know it.
What is my
dude, I'm not going to say it. I know it.
What is my zodiac sign?
Japanese. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, I have no idea what your birthday is. Do you guys know each other's birthdays? Like, is that a thing? I don't think I know any of my friends.
What is Amit's chat? What's Amit's zodiac sign?
Okay, they know it because they know my birthday. But
what is it?
Let's see if people actually get it. Well, not that many people know.
He's a Scorpio. He's a Libra.
No, I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah,
okay, everybody has it.
He's a Scorpio.
No. We're mysterious.
You're a Scorpio.
Yeah. Well, what are you? When's your actual birthday? When is it? I have no idea when your birthday is. I think it's in the February or something.
Hey,
So-
by the way, total random. Ooh. You're a Scorpio.
Yes.
That was a guess by me. It was my first guess, and I nailed that.
No, you
I'm
saw
very-
5 comments in the chat say Scorpio. What are you talking about?
Dude, I said Scorpio before a single comment popped up.
Okay.
All the Scorpios popped up before I said something.
Anyway, Tempest. What are we
I'm a
thinking?
Libra.
Oh,
Which-
I was almost a Libra, but I wasn't. Wait, so when's your birthday? It's in
Libra.
September then, right?
Hmm.
When's
It's
your
October.
birthday? October what?
Not 31st. That would be Scorpio. His birthday's on Halloween. Just so you guys know.
I'm the 27th. So you're before the
Oh
20th.
shit.
Wait, so
Trivia
when's your
night.
birthday?
Trivia night.
When is your birthday?
I locked it in. The first.
Oh, October 1st. Oh, okay, so it's coming up.
First. Hold on. So the 27th. October
that's fine.
27th.
No.
No, that's mine. For real. I like this. So weekly. This is a really interesting spot. So Tempest is in a funky. So the white line, so 76.39 is yesterday's high. It's also like the blue lines, which are, I really want to get this set in. I'm going to have to build a new, dude, I am going to custom code a brand new indicator just for your chat. Like, I'm going to buy do we have any Pine script, like professionals? If there's by the way, if there are any Pines, oh yeah, found it. If we have any Pine script pros in the house, reach out to me on Twitter, please. And thank you. Money.
All right, Jason, I legit have
I know,
to
I
go
got it.
to-
I got it. So this
You wanna
happens to be
stay on, or-
50%. No, we're done. Happens to be a 50% retracement at yesterday's high, which we just got through 76.39. If we can hold this level, we should be going to 81.73. Above that, cool, but it's level to level right now. It is September. We're about halfway there. If we lose that, it's a very small, teeny tiny trading range, 73, between 73.50 and 74. You really don't want to see anything below 72. Then that whole trade is kind of like off. But that area that it bounced off this morning, actually not bad support to keep this general trajectory in line. So literally this morning's low. Want that to hold.
Okay, last two, SMCI.
I'm not liking semis in general right now. Ooh, this is an ugly day. Unlike the rest of the stuff that I'm looking at today, it's like I don't see a strong close here. Closing candle.
Also with NVIDIA down, I mean, all of these guys are not.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing a strong closing candle. I see strong after hours, but I'm telling you guys, there's nothing but lies and deceit for you after hours. Love you, but it's just
when you say that, people are going to think you're salty Google. That's all they're going to think.
True. It's just it's too thinly traded. It's just too thinly traded. It's not real volume. It's what it is. Pre-market is different than after hours. Two completely different things. Pre-market, very real. Pay attention to the pre-market. After hours, not so much. So yeah, we'll have to see what this looks like tomorrow. Today, it did bounce right off this trend line. So like trend line. Here's the thing. It is 41 and change, 41.31. That's going to be the key pivot for SMCI. Not today. Friday's high is roughly 40, just under 43. So it's got to be level to level. So one step at a time. I think you have to piecemeal it right now because you got to be on your toes here. You just have to be on your toes right now. And so these are the two levels right now. So as long as it can get over 41.5, you can see somewhere back to 45s, then you really got to get back on your toes because that is where it broke down just recently. That's where the bears are waiting. If you can get through that, cool. Maybe you could talk about 50. And in that instance, great. Then it will probably start to look like some kind of cuppy handle. But realistically, the bears are very much waiting to do that. So that's why I say in this area, if you do get up to here, you have to be very cautious. Cool.
Okay. Final one, UPS. Any thoughts?
Oh my goodness, dude. We got to go in the way back machine on UPS. It's kind of a killer. Have you seen this chart?
It's ugly.
Okay, so he has seen it. So UPS is I don't have my UPS chart. Is this one? Who's asking for UPS? Oh, there's a lot of people asking for UPS.
Yeah, I think a decent number of people are wondering if it's a value play dip buy.
So the CEO of UPS said like a while ago, I think you have to be bullish consumer. Like really?
The problem is I feel like Prime from Amazon is commoditizing FedEx and UPS, which is the issue.
Yes, and I think they have a crap deal with UPS.
Yeah.
But also UPS, there is something about unions going on right now.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how that's going to affect them. This is like 2028 here. 2024 all-time high. There are essentially a handful of points on this chart that you need to really drill into, and that is it. So this is going to be 2018 low, 2016.
By the way, the Open Door former CEO, they adjusted the SEC filing. It is not 700,000 shares. It's 5 million. So instead of $3 million, it's $35 million. So she's getting a nice little payday because of the Open Door community. $4.99 a share is her exit. I don't know if that's all of her shares. I don't know if she has more than 7 million, but I mean, she's getting a hell of a payday from this.
Okay. So, oops. All right. So this is where we are. I think I've got most of these in there. These are like massive points in history, like massive points in history. So everything else aside, can you see this on screen? I think you can.
Yeah.
Everything is. So I just pulled these back. Yes, the chart is absolute crap. we have traversed this general range for a month. If we continue lower, cool. 2020 lows are in sight. You can't, there's not really anything below this. And so we know for right now, look, if we go below 84, there's your low, $82. I just don't have, if I go on a weekly scale, that's what it is. It's right there. That's the next little low below that. The only thing here, this doesn't really matter, that right there, because that's not the low. When I zoom into this, it's like, it's already there. So it's not really a big deal. We're already there. That's not saving anybody's bacon at the moment. So it's right here. So this is kind of like it's like a, what is that? I don't even know what that is. It's a nothing is what that is. So cool, nice to know, but not of significant significance. Generally speaking, okay. They want to call it a bear flag. They want to call it whatever they want. It did. What's true is it didn't get over this significant area, roughly 90. I actually kind of thought it would. Because I've been watching it. I just added these SMAs on. So clearly I've actually been watching this for a while, because it is one of these like potentially super deep value names. If for whatever reason it can get over 85s or 86s back out of this, like maybe this becomes a bit of a failed breakdown and we can see something like that, great. But still, it's not going to matter that much to me. The biggest thing that matters here is this area right here. It's this $90 general area. And even then, it's this 92.65. So these are areas of like historical reference on the chart. This whole range is like $10, but when we're talking about UPS, what's $10, I suppose, when we're talking about a $220 stock? Because if this does really get over here, yes, okay, 92 would be next, and that would be like near definitive, and that would take you roughly to this consolidation area into that 50-day simple moving average. I would have for sure clarity that we're well over our 20-day simple. I've dropped into the daily now, and we would essentially have trajectory to go into this area here. And if we have that kind of trajectory, well, we're probably going to be filling this entire fair value or liquidity pocket, which means that something substantial has probably changed in the stock if we're doing that. And we're likely to be building some kind of significant momentum at that point. Like something significant would have changed. And honestly, we're probably going significantly higher, but here's what that's going to look like. It's going to look like this. It's going to look roughly like 97s, just under 100. I expect some kind of a stalling point if that happens. But again, very cautious. None of this is real until you're over 90. It's all a pipe dream. And until that pipe dream, until then, this is like a tax loss harvester, possibly for a lot of people. You could easily go to 82, which is not that much farther below. And maybe this is a better entry here at whatever point. So that's fine. If you're looking at UPS down here now as an entry point, if that's what you're looking at, I don't think you need to be in a rush. if that's your logic of some sort.
Are you at all interested in this one?
Yeah, it's massively deep value. I don't think that, quite frankly, this is what I would have to be looking at. This is a trade, right? Like that's not that big of a deal. That's $8. So not a big deal, right? Like that's the first step of if something were to happen like this, the whole trajectory is, so when you look at this, is that you're looking at something like this, but this is not necessarily, I'm not here yet. Like I can't get behind it there. I just can't. Oops, sorry. I can't get logic there yet. Like you have to be, I can't get there. I don't have a storyboard for that one.
Yeah.
Regional banks for sure, right? Like you know that one. If I'm going to be bullish on a sector right now, I've mentioned it. It's home builders, it's regional banks, possibly generational dip, like generational turnaround, on the rate story for the next 3 to 5 years. But shippers, I don't know. They've been trying to turn this company around for a long time. I mean, it's cheap, no doubt. But it's like, is it a dead industry as a whole? It's possible. I mean, robotics, like it's possible that this company won't really be needed. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's the kind of stuff, like, offense if anybody works at UPS. I mean, they just did a not buyout, but they offered their company or their employees a buyout for a long time. Actually, I used to work at Best Buy for like in high school and like way back when. And I liked Best Buy. I actually had a really good thesis for Best Buy as a stock, like really good. And maybe it plays out, but maybe it doesn't. But at the same time, it's like there's always underlying thoughts of like brick and mortar retail might just be dead as an industry at a certain point in time, because there's just Costco, there's Walmart. Like, why do you go to Best Buy? Just period. Yeah. End of story.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely from a growth perspective as well.
But that's what I mean. Like that is it in a nutshell.
Yeah. All right. That is it for today. There's Jason's Twitter in the chat. We got 2 technical sessions this week. We'll have them on.
They're still dropping tickers.
Still dropping tickers. Next Tuesday, we will not have Technical Tuesday because I'll be in Vegas. Maybe we do it on Monday instead. We'll see.
I can do that. Yeah, I think it's so. Next week will be. I would like to do something next week because I think it will be an important one. I think this week is not like from a directional perspective on the market. I think next week will be important, and the week after. So the next 2 technical sessions to get a real read on like, okay, what are we doing? It might be a better.
We'll have non-farm payrolls as well.
Bingo. Yeah. So it'll be after non-farm payrolls because everything from here, it'll be after the 2 major catalysts. So after non-farm payrolls and then after FOMC, we'll have a chance to see how is the market digesting these two like critical economic data points.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Jason's Twitter again in the chat. Please make sure to follow.
Nick is so on this lift, man. I mean,
we
dude.
did lift yesterday, so we like lift.
Yeah. I can't knock it, dude. I blinked for 2 seconds on lift and the thing lifted on me. That's all I can tell you. I blinked for 2 seconds and I'm like, oh man, are you kidding? And next thing I knew, Evan, Stock Market News, is like, dude, my lift is just out of control. I'm like, whoa. So rude. But I appreciate you guys. But yeah, Hopefully it's helpful. Sorry, I get a little tangent sometimes, but
Oh, you're good. No,
yeah.
We love you. Thank you, man.
Love
Appreciate
the
it.
new jigs, man. I like
What
it.
do you say?
I love the new jigs. I can't really see. What is that? I can't see what is that on the shelf that's like a golden?
This is actually, I gotta figure out how to place it in a better spot, but this is a bull.
Can you lift it? I've never seen that.
If I lift it, the thing behind it's gonna fall. So I'm not gonna lift
Oh
it.
no. Oh, it's a bull. I see it.
No, can I actually? Okay, I got it.
Don't break, dude. Don't break anything. Oh, that is sweet, bro.
But it's hard to show this off in the background without a it's like.
Oh, I love that.
It's just super cool. If you see it in person, it lights up too. It's like.
No, it doesn't. Oh, that is sick.
I gotta attach the USB to it. But shout out to Desiree. If she's watching, she got me this in Miami. It's just like a big ass bull.
Dude, that is awesome. I did not realize when you showed those pictures how the trajectory of the group has just grown so much. When you showed those pictures, I was like, where's the first meetup to the second meetup, third meetup, and how each meetup that you had has gotten
That's
Tesla.
Okay. Yeah.
So much bigger. I'm like, whoa. Yeah.
No, this is a really, I mean, these like, what do you say to some of these gifts? You're just looking at them like, my goodness, people actually took the time and money and energy to think of something like that. So that means a lot. It's cool, dude. It's the manifestation of this entire community coming together. There was a bunch of people. I told you this on the phone yesterday, but a bunch of people told me, Technical Tuesday, I am locked in. Whenever Jason's on, I am in that stream. Because a lot of people are, I know a lot of people shit on TA, but a lot of people also want to get better at TA. So
you guys don't realize, like, it matters to me, like how even this segment is like digested, because like I know I'm all over the place sometimes, and like it matters like how easily digestible it is in general, and if it's able to be learned or if it's distracting or whatever, right? So, but we're always trying to make it better from a messaging perspective or like how things show in the stream. But work in progress. Progress, not perfection. It's never going to be perfect, but as long as it's constantly getting a little bit better, working on did I take my pill at the right time and day or whatever. I'm joking, but
I think your tangents also at the end of the day still add a ton of value, because you can speak on a lot of tickers. That's the difference between you and a lot of other TA people. I notice, like, they can't fundamentally speak about a stock because it's so rooted in TA. But like when I talk about SoFi, you immediately can rate cuts, this, that, like you can, add value just to the technicals element of it because you know about stocks, because you're an investor as well,
Yeah, that is different for sure. That is definitely different. And unfortunately, I am an options trader, and that's what gets me in trouble here in this channel. That I am an options trader, and what has gotten me in trouble the most of the time is that I go off on these tangents about like volatility or like over precision where it's probably not necessary, and that takes too long on tickers.
Yeah.
And so we're working on that.
Yeah. And eventually we'll get that shot clock, and then I think it'll be even more efficient. But it's good. People really appreciate it a lot.
Well, I appreciate you guys for sure.
Hey, if Amit called Jared J. Kush, can we call Jason J. Money? Yes. 100%.
Hey, but for anybody that was thinking about options, now that you've seen me around a little bit, now you know why I said, like, dude, options are not just about price action. The detail that is required, now you know, it's not just about like stock goes up, buy calls. So not that. But anyways.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's it. Thank you all for joining. We will be back. I'll see you, Jason. We'll talk next week, and hopefully we can do it on Monday. We'll do it from there.
Your payment to me spending. What is that?
I don't know. All right, I'll see you on Monday.
All right, see you later. Bye, guys.
Later.
Late.
All right, folks, that is it. We'll be back tomorrow. The market open. Tanner, Roy, and I did not do the podcast this week because the market was closed yesterday. Probably not doing it tonight, but We will be back for the market open tomorrow. Market close not happening tomorrow because of traveling. Market open on Thursday should happen even with the traveling. Market close on Thursday not happening. Market open on Friday will happen. Market close on Friday, probably from the airport, will be happening. Hopefully Hoodie can get into the S&P, but if not, we'll see what happens. So still a week of traveling. I'll be back Saturday night or Friday night. And then next week, Vegas for 2 days. So that's going to Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of take up some time. But after Vegas, we'll be back and we'll be officially here. So we still have, yes, we do have to do a 24-hour stream. And I want to have some guests over for that stream. So hopefully when the traveling dies down a little bit, October, November, December, we get to do that. But yeah, we should still be able to do that 24-hour stream, or at least like an overnight stream, something where like you go into the market open from like 2 a.m. to like 8 a.m. That would be kind of fun. We just gotta figure it out. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Again, Google News, super freaking bullish. If you're in Google, congratulations. I am in it. I'm not as heavy as some people that are in it. So if you are in heavy, congrats. 226 after hours, up 7%. Apple's up 3%. I don't see the S&P going to 7,000 without Google and Apple participating. So it's very, very nice to see both of these names getting some momentum. And as a result, you're starting to see some of that hard work pay off for a lot of people that have been waiting for these names to take off. And now they are hopefully beginning to take off. And we'll see tomorrow where these names open at as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the market open. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.